Lawyers. Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Hangin with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
TGIF, Hanny.
If you're listening on 1130 The Tiger up in Shreveport, if you are watching us on CST or on our YouTube channel, appreciate you joining us this afternoon. I got to start the show. Cade Wazan is our audio producer today, and Paul O'Neill is our video producer. Paul, I need you to speak for a second. How long have you been working here?
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. Okay. I walked in today, and so Paul and I are talking. Paul does actually speak, okay? I mean, contrary to today, Paul offered, for the first time since I've known him, a little bit of show content advice. He didn't demand it. He didn't suggest. He offered it almost as something hopeful, like, just kind of please. Okay.
Would you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Paul's advice today was, and almost in this voice, I can't really do Paul's voice. Can we have COVID-free Friday? and I was just okay. It's a hell of an idea, and I would love to do COVID-free Friday. So there is a story that we're going to start with. We're going to do a quick piece on this because I think it's important, and then barring anything else,
our best.
Yes, we're
the
going
old
to
college
do
try.
The rest of actually, I think the story we're going to update you on here, I think, is actually a positive thing. So it's kind of a positive COVID thing, and then the rest of the day we're just done unless something major happens. And the story is this, and then we can proceed with a pseudo COVID-free Friday. Is that the SEC has added to their protocols more tests, enhanced screening. And why is this important? Well, one of the things that they are going to be screening for is myocarditis, which we have all been educated on over the last couple of weeks. So the first thing that they're adding is a third weekly test. That's for COVID. And then they are having enhanced screening for myocarditis. So they had previously announced 2 PCR tests. Okay, so now you're going to go to 3. The SEC has a task force to do this. They have recommended that there is a cardiac evaluation mandate. For this includes confirmed infected student athletes have to have a different blood test, an electrocardiogram, an echocardiogram, and a medical evaluation by a physician before they return to play. Now, why am I telling you all this? I'm telling you all this because every time they have thrown up a roadblock to come back and play, the SEC has answered the bell, and the ACC and the Big 12 have come in right behind them. Get me to a yes, okay? Well, we think this is a problem. You know what? Could be a problem. Let's find a solution. We're going to test more for it. Quarterback at Georgia State tested positive for this. Okay, you have to sit out the season. Doesn't mean you have to shut the entire world down. Get me to a yes. What can we do to fix the problem? This is what we can do to fix the problem. We are going to ramp up the testing even more, close things down inside our bubble even more. Get me to a yes. If they don't end up playing in the SEC this year, it won't be for lack of trying. They won't have just looked at the problem and said, this is beyond us. And that's why the story is, I think, important, and it's encouraging to me. I like people that look for solutions. I don't like people that give up and just say this is too hard.
And that was, that's why you had your rant. Yeah. I mean, that was organic. I mean, that happened because you were tired of that, getting to a roadblock and saying, well, I guess we're done. No, you got to either move the roadblock, you got to jump over it, you got to go underneath it, you got to do everything you can to try to move forward. And the SEC has done that, and they have been patient. When something happens, they don't react to it. They say, okay, hey, relax, let's take our time. What can we do to fix the problem? Because there's going to be problems. If the SEC thought that, they're just going to play football without a hitch, no, there's going to be a bump in the road. There's no doubt about that, but they're ready for those because they take their time, they assess the situation, and then they find a solution to the situation. And so The Big Ten, the Pac-12 did not do that. The SEC, and again, I realize that Commissioner Sankey in Baton Rouge has had some tough times. I realize that.
He's done well.
Everybody
with this.
has to credit him for his leadership. He has done fantastic. Everybody in that SEC office has done fantastic.
I've been as big a critic of him as anybody. He's done a fantastic job with this. Twitter's not running the protocols here. Twitter's not running the show. And I'm not sure you can say that in a lot of other political and athletic endeavors here during the pandemic. I have been asked, as I know you have many, many times, are there going to be, if there's football, are there going to be fans in the stadium? And LSU hasn't said anything yet. Well, there's a reason for that. And the reason is they have to wait on the governor. Now, I understand everybody's impatient and wants an answer right now, but the reason that they are waiting is because the longer they wait, the better the possibility is that they can get more people in the stands. I know a number of schools in the league announced their plans this week, and that's fine. Their states are in different phases, potentially, than Louisiana is. The governor's going to speak next week. Phase 2's next benchmark is a week from today. Will the governor keep us in phase 2? Will we move to phase 3? Will he keep us in phase 2 through Labor Day? That's sort of been a lot of people think that he may keep us through Labor Day to avoid the Memorial Day spike. Right. And then after Labor Day, return to seriously looking at phase 3. If the numbers improve, you can get to phase 3. You can do a lot more things. And if you're still in phase 2, well, you haven't lost anything. LSU could announce a policy today based on phase 2. You wouldn't like it. I mean, you wouldn't like it as much as what they could possibly do. So, again, we have to wait. But that patience may pay off for you. Right. I think the patience has paid off for the SEC and the ACC and the Big 12. I think the patience could pay off for LSU. And if it doesn't, well, we're not in any worse situation than we are right now. I mean, once you shut it down, once you put a policy in place, it's hard to walk it back. Yeah. So get as much information as you can, use your patience, and make the best decision you can.
And also, if you get to phase 3, yes, it's the amount of fans that you have in the building, but it's also, if you get to phase 3, the concession lines are going to look a little bit different. Yeah. All the lines getting into the game are going to look a little different. Maybe the protocols aren't as strict as they would be in a phase 2. Maybe you're not going to have to jump through so many hurdles. Right. So even that part of it will look different because we're probably looking at 20,000 fans. I mean, that's kind of
even in phase 3. We might be looking at that.
That's kind of been the standard.
But phase 2 might be 0 fans.
Phase 2 might not be nobody's in there unless you play or coach for the team, or if you're.
We're not talking about 50,000 or 75,000 or 100,000. We're talking about 0 to 20.
But
probably,
phase 3 would open up some different things.
It would,
and different access to the stadium and all the things that we're talking about here. Home field advantage for this year. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what Tiger Stadium, 20,000 fans looks like. I know it for a spring game, but nobody's paying attention to the spring game. Everybody's just there because it's LSU football on the field. Let's see if it's a 3rd and long and Alabama's in town. I don't know what that's going to sound like. It's going to look different.
I think home field advantage this year is going to be largely confined to the fact that you don't have to get on a plane or a bus or a bus for any amount of time. Yeah. I think you're going to have your familiar surroundings, but I think that's probably going to be you can dress in your own locker room, that kind of thing. I don't think that the noise is going to be a real factor.
What do you think they do with the PA system in college football? I mean, you think they're going to have crowd noise?
You're talking about piped in noise now?
Yeah. Because obviously you can't play it at a certain time, like at Starkville. They're not supposed to be able to do the cowbells at a certain time, even though they literally do them right until the snap. But I could see some mandate like that as well.
It's possible. I would ask for home games, and I understand the band's not going to travel, but are you going to have the band? Because the band can provide, if they let the band in the stadium, and I don't know that they will, but if you have the band in there, and that band can be really loud in a stadium that's only 20,000 people. You know, sometimes the band's playing as loud as they can, but that stadium gets so loud that they can drown the band out during some big moments. But 20,000 people in the stands, you're going to be able to hear that band really well.
Spread them all across the north end zone.
Golden Band's, time to shine if they let them in. So that's kind of my thought on this. So again, Greg Sankey with his statement says we remain vigilant in the monitoring of the trends and the effects of COVID as we learn more about the virus. We enhance the effectiveness of the protocols already in place. This is another part of get me to a yes, and it's encouraging to me. If they end up not playing, it will not have been from lack of effort to try to get to a yes.
And look, I know a lot of people are looking at North Carolina State, Notre Dame, the situations there. There's going to be some numbers that are higher than what you've had over the summer.
They knew that.
Yes.
That's why we're not trying to start on September the 1st. You know, we're trying to start at the end of September. That was the whole reasoning behind that.
If you see some numbers coming out and you're like, uh-oh, don't panic. They knew a spike was coming. Yeah. Now, you don't want it to be a large spike. You just want it to be a small spike, obviously. But they've expected this, and that's why they are being patient in everything that they're doing. I think the SEC has done just a fantastic job. I truly think the leadership has never panicked one time. And I'll go all the way back to when Commissioner Sankey was upset that they canceled the College World Series. It still would have been canceled.
It would have been.
But he was still like, guys, we got a couple months here. Like, let's let this thing play out. Let's see what we can find, because at that time we really didn't know anything.
No, it hit me the same way. I've said that on the air a number of times. When was that oh my God moment? For me, it was when they canceled the College World Series, because I'm sitting there listening to this. And wait a minute, it's March. I knew y'all were going to cancel the NCAA basketball tournament. That's next week. College World Series is in June. Oh, wow. Okay.
Right.
I understand now. And my reaction was the same as Sankey's at that time. And we have not agreed on a lot of things over time, but we do on this one.
Great post inside our Bayou Ford YouTube chat from Joey. They'd also be able to play neck without concern if the band is allowed, but not the fans.
Oh, wow.
Good.
Wait, did we find something positive to come out of COVID?
You could play net. You could play it over and over again.
Where's our little song? Where's our button?
But I don't know. I mean, Joe Burrow did. He enjoyed neck when they were
right. In the Superdome.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good moment.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the story. I consider it a positive story. I think you consider it a positive story as well. So from here on out, barring a major breaking story, we will adhere to Paul O'Neill's request for from here on out, COVID-free Friday. Guy makes one show suggestion, and it's like an ace. We're brought to you by Richard Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. We got some stuff out of Saints camp. NBA draft lottery went down last night. Jacobs Knicks did great again. Bill Bender from the Sporting News will be with us. Former LSU Tiger Brandon Taylor will be with us. Matt Hayes from Bleacher Report will be with us in the 2 o'clock hour. We'll do first class, second class, no class. Busy Friday, and from here on out, we hope COVID-free Friday. Hang with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
GoTro's outdoor power for all of your property maintenance needs, and our friends over at Skag, was simply the best unit on the market, and there's zero turns right now with 60 months interest-free financing and free delivery and service after the sale with the biggest parts inventory anywhere in the South. Also, their first responders program, their Simply the Brave program, all your first responders, your police, your fire, and all your medical personnel with 15% off MSRP on all Skag units. And Skag is also offering a little something extra right now.
When you buy a Skag Patriot Z, Tiger Cat, Cheetah, or Turf Tiger GoTro's outdoor power, you'll get a choice of an Echo trimmer or blower absolutely free. 2 locations locally, Airline at 74 in Gonzales, Airline at Industriaplex in Baton Rouge. Of course, GoTro'sOutdoorPower.com is the website. But look, if COVID has you worried, you can always call GoTro's. They can do it 100% over the phone, including financing and free delivery over at GoTro's. GoTro's, we make it easy.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Yo, join us for a TGIF edition of Hangin' with Hester and Hanny presented by Richards Honda. Matt Hayes of the Bleacher Report comes to talk college football. We'll also be joined in studio by former number 18 Brandon Taylor on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Always puts Hester in a good mood. Actually, always puts me in a good mood, too. Hope everybody's in a good mood on a Friday. We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. You were not in a good mood last night after your flag football team drew the Irish and then the NBA Draft Lottery. Your Knicks did not move up. This is continued punishment for rigging the first ever draft lottery for the Knicks. You understand that? I mean, this is like the curse of the Bambino, but just the basketball version, because they put the Knicks envelope in the freezer. You believe that, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. They needed Patrick Ewing
to
be in New York. They froze that thing.
They did bad.
Draft lottery. The Pels do not move up. They stay in at number 13. The Knicks don't move up. They stay in at number 8. Minnesota won this thing. Golden State, Charlotte, Chicago, Cleveland round out the top 5. So pretty much what we expected. This is not one of those years where you're looking at. I don't think a franchise mover at number. It's not last year. Well, it's not even when Ben Simmons was the number 1 pick in the draft. He had been the number 1 pick in the draft for 3 years, really.
Yeah.
I mean, back to his time in Australia, like when that kid comes out, he's the number 1 pick in the draft. Anthony Davis wasn't the number 1 pick in the draft when he got to Kentucky, but he was certainly the number 1 pick in the draft from, I would say, January of that season, for sure. Guys like Kyrie Irving, he played 15 minutes at Duke, and he was going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. There were other ones that have turned into really good players that weren't necessarily the number 1 pick in the draft. They're at the beginning of their senior year, like Karl Anthony Towns or Blake Griffin or John Wall. We're talking about going back to the last 10 years now. And, one of the guys that was hyped for a long time, probably close to 2 years, that has been a good player, but he's a volume shooter, is Andrew Wiggins. I remember rigging for Wiggins. That was the guy. And he's You ever really found somebody that, if you are labeled as a volume shooter, you better be really good, because most of the time that's code word for ball hog and stop the offense. I mean, if you're going to be a volume shooter, you better shoot it like Kobe Bryant did.
Yeah, like Dick Vitale. He shot his shot so many times. He's a volume shooter, but he's missed every single time. Same thing.
Not exactly where I was going with that one. This time, and of course Zion was the number one pick from the day he hit campus.
Wiggins has been traded he's been traded twice already too.
He's been traded twice. He's got a nasty contract. Yeah. And it's not that he can't score. He can, but he needs a lot of shots to get there. We go into this not knowing who the number one pick in the draft is. I think this is, since the disastrous Anthony Bennett year, this is probably the one with the most, I guess, disagreement of opinion on who people should take. I think the lean is towards LaMelo Ball, that he's got the potential to be special more than anybody else in this draft. He sees things that other players don't see. His anticipation, his ability to distribute the basketball is off the charts. He is better at that, and he is a bigger guard than his brother. And Lonzo was a number 2 pick in the draft. Yes, his shot needs some work, and no, he has not played in a significant basketball game in the United States since high school.
Right.
But he does have some things on his resume that nobody under the age of 19 has. I mean, the guy has played professional basketball on 2 different continents.
Yeah.
And he had to grow up in a hurry. Now, some of the things that we were worried about with Lonzo seem to have faded to the background where LeVar is concerned. He has sort of removed himself from that, and that's to those kids' benefit.
Absolutely.
I think at this point they're now adults and they're professionals, so, butt out a little bit. But it could be Anthony Edwards from Georgia. And we saw some unbelievable games from him. The one against Michigan State very early in the season jumps out at me. The game against South Carolina where he hit 38 points, and you go, wow, okay, I can see that. If you look at Edwards really, really hard, you can see a 19-year-old James Harden. That's if you want to talk about what is his absolute ceiling, it's Harden. Okay, but a 19-year-old James Harden, not the MVP at this point of his career.
But to your point, I mean, we've kind of known he was going to be a potential number 1 overall pick. Even in his high school days. So he didn't disappoint at Georgia. It was inconsistent at times, but when he thrived, it was on a big stage. I mean, there was multiple games that you could say, okay, that guy is going to be the number 1 pick. I think teams just look for him to be more consistent. That's why we're sitting here talking about, could it be this guy, could it be that guy, and it's just not, okay, well, it's going to be Anthony Edwards, because his body type, I mean, 6'3", 225 pounds, he is put together. Yeah. I mean, this is a guy that can play different styles of basketball, but, there was times when he would disappear, and there was games against lesser opponents that he would disappear.
I give him credit for owning that last night. If you saw the interview where he said, I had a lot of bad games at Georgia, and they weren't a particularly entertaining team to watch. You watched Georgia to see what he would do, and sometimes he was dazzling, and sometimes you didn't know that he was any different from your regular college freshman. I think those two will go 1-2 in some order. Charlotte and James Wiseman seem to be a good match at number 3. So that's how I would say the top 3 will go. The Knicks at number 8 will find whoever the worst player is in the first round, and they'll take him.
They'll take somebody from France that we've never heard of until the draft night.
Well, I mean, when they took Porzingis, did you know who he was?
That's fair.
I mean, that worked out, and then as soon as he started playing really well, they got rid of him.
They got rid of him because everybody wants to come to New York, Madison Square Garden, the big stage. Come on, everybody. And we got Taj Gibson.
The Pelicans sit at number 13. I think there's a group of 3-and-D guys that will be in their pool. You want to call it a bullpen when you get into the draft. You put 3 or 4 guys in your bullpen that you think will be there. You put them in order, and I think their bullpen will be some combination of Devin Vassell from Florida State, Sadiq Bey from Villanova, Patrick Williams from Florida State, and those three guys for sure. Aaron Naismith from Vanderbilt will be in their bullpen, I'm sure. Pretty good chance he'll be off the board by then.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that Phoenix would make sense for him at number 10. Playboy Morty's not here today to give us his thoughts.
Fridays. Thursdays must hit him hard.
Well, they do the show down at Jolie Pearl and on Thursdays, and it's they let's just say they stay after the show and watch games.
Okay.
In the bar.
I guess so.
I actually went and had some oysters there last night. Watched Game Time with those
Jimmy
guys.
Put you to work?
No.
Oh.
I was a total
surprise.
Customer last night. I wanted some oysters. Went down there, watched about a half of one of the games with them, and I just at that point I knew Playboy Morty would not be here today.
Hey, let me ask you about Cole Anthony from North Carolina. This was a guy that potentially had number 1, number 2 pick stuff coming into last season, and he really struggled. And I think I've heard Jimmy go on a rant about Cole Anthony in this NBA draft.
He doesn't like him at all.
Yes. So he sits there at 14. Do you think a team will reach because of what he potentially could be?
I think he's probably right on the edge of the lottery. Yeah. I think he'll probably go somewhere.
So the Knicks will reach?
I don't think the Knicks will reach. I don't think they reach on him. I'd be surprised if he's a top 10 pick. I think he could get into the back end of the lottery, somewhere in that middle part of the teens, 13, 14, 15, 16, something like that. I'll tell you who is compared to him a lot and has got a similar draft stock is Tyrese Maxey from Kentucky.
Yeah.
And when I look at that guy, I just think he's a better athlete than Anthony. Now, is he a better long-term basketball player? I don't know. But I love his athleticism. And when I watched Kentucky play, he was a guy I was like, man, that cat could play for me. He was really good. So I think he's probably a middle of the teens pick. Could get into the back end of the lottery.
I want to ask you about one more SEC guy, Isaac Okoro from Auburn. This is a guy that obviously has gone through injuries, but they've got him on ESPN.com as the number 7 player in this draft. But when you look at his projected role, versatile two-way role player. Now, you want to get more than a role player at number 7. If he is indeed the 7th best player in this draft, you saw him play a little bit in the SEC. What do you think of him?
He's the best perimeter defender, I thought, in the league last year, and he is thought of as the best perimeter defender in this draft. So if you're looking for a 3-and-D guy or just a perimeter wing that can really defend, he can defend right from the beginning. So there may be playing time for him to get on the floor defensively early. His shot needs some work.
Yeah.
The 3 part of the 3-and-D is not there yet.
Right.
So I like him. I think he's got a lot of upside. If you look real hard at him, I like to make comparisons to guys early in their career. There's a little Bruce Bowen to him.
Yeah.
That really tough perimeter defender, and Bowen at the beginning of his career was not a lights out shooter, but became a very good 3-and-D guy. That's kind of what I see a young Bruce Bowen with him.
And I think you're exactly right. That's why I don't know if he's the 7th best player in this draft. You can put an emphasis on defense and you can wait till the 3 comes, but that's more of a late first round, middle of the first round pick to me. I don't know if I could take him at 7 and sell that to my fan base, because at number 7, you still want to get a bona fide starting player.
You talking about a starter as a rookie?
Just a starter. I mean, because
I think he's a starter. I don't know if he's a starter the very first game of the very first season.
I think he is like you said, I think he is, he's going to come in and give the other team's best player fits late in the first quarter.
That's valuable, though.
It's valuable, but I just don't know if it's 7 valuable.
In this particular draft, if I can get one thing, if I get a one-dimensional player, but he's a role player for me, and if I'm not picking 1 or 2, if I find a gem, if I just find a defensive stopper, that may be a win in this particular draft. If the Pelicans find a guy who can come off the bench and shoot, that might at 13. That might be enough. The guys in the second round, the Pelicans have 39, 42, and 60, the last pick in the draft. We were talking yesterday with Will. I wouldn't be surprised at all if it's 3 Europeans that don't make it to Louisiana for 2-3 years.
Right.
Something like that. We'll take a break. When we come back, first class, second class, no class. We are brought to you by Richard Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week. But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help out by visiting brfoodbank.org or bankingonbr.com.
Here at the Big Squeezy, we continue to serve the Baton Rouge and Southeast Louisiana areas during these troubling times. We are dedicated to providing you healthy food items to help you live your best life. From our cold-pressed juices to our delicious smoothies, let the Big Squeezy keep you going. Stay active, stay happy, and let us help you stay healthy. Visit us at our locations and also inside of Alexander's and Mathern's grocery stores or online at thebigsqueezy.com.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Hey, can someone get Gordy on the line? Is Terrio still suspended? I need to know. Find out tomorrow at 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. First class.
I want a seat in first class where I was booked and ticketed over a month ago.
Second class.
That no man should be subjected to the indignity of being labeled or treated like a second-class citizen.
And no class.
My life had become like school on Sunday. No class.
I'll tell you what then. Why don't you call me sometime when you have no class?
First class, second class, no class, brought to you by Relief Telemed. Relief is for businesses with frequent interactions with the public, like restaurants and retail stores, service-based businesses that cannot afford to shut down or send home employees. Relief's COVID mitigation platform takes the hassle, chaos, and stress out of having your employees tested for COVID. The process starts with a video visit with a physician and ends with a custom action plan for every employee. And through a dashboard, you know exactly when your employees can come back to work.
They offer on-site and off-site testing options, have the option to get COVID results in as little as 24 hours. Relief is the market leader for rapid response COVID testing. Be on site within 24 hours and have your business operational in 48. High school coaches, youth coaches, be a pretty good service for your team, right? If you want to make sure that your team is safe, if you're out there on the football field, Relief Telemed can have you out there on the field and safe. ReliefTelemed.com/stopthespreads, the website, the direct line, 225-244-6093.
Last night, the LA Lakers beat the Portland Trailblazers by 23 points, 111-88, and even that series at one game apiece. But it was Anthony Davis that I want to put in first class, and I know a lot of people here have some sour. Listen, here's you have to give credit when people rise to what the expectations are. The knock on Anthony Davis has been talented guy, but when you really, really need him in a really, really big game, he's not ready to be the lead. He's a perfect two, but can he be the one? And the Lakers sent the Pelicans an enormous package, okay? An all-star in Brandon Ingram, another potential all-star, a good bench player, and a slew of draft picks because they need him to be at least the equal of LeBron James right now, and they need him to be the face of the franchise when James retires. And so far, the points and things like that have not always come when they've absolutely needed him the most. Last night, you didn't want to go down 2-0, even though it's not a home court advantage situation. You don't want to go down 2-0. And LeBron James had one of the worst games of his playoff career. He had 10 points. He's 4 for 11 from the floor. Yep. Didn't hit a three, only got to the free throw line twice. Your best player had one of his worst nights ever for a playoff game, and Davis stepped up. The kind of game that they needed him to have in the absence of James carrying the load. James had he was over 20, 15, and 15 in the first game. It was a statistical anomaly. This time he wasn't his night. Davis stepped up, 31 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, a block, and he was very efficient. Now, it comes with one little small caveat, and that is he did hit 3 3-pointers, okay? When Davis is at his best, he's been down and attacking the rim, down in the paint, and he's settled for jump shots too many times, but last night he made them. So you got to give credit where credit is due. Anthony Davis, first class.
All right, I'm going to stay in the NBA with my first class. I'm going to just say the way the Miami Heat play basketball is my first class. I love how they play as a team. And even though they have a star in Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler has had his own things happen to him in the NBA where he's been called a bad teammate and all those things, right? Well, he has found the right mix for him. And he is not a good three-point shooter. In fact, he's in the bottom 3 of the league, and he has stopped shooting three-pointers because he knows he's not a good three-point shooter anymore. And so what does he do? Well, he facilitates to his teammates. Robinson was so clutch yesterday, had 24 points. Dragic had 20 points. This team just moves the basketball. They don't really care who gets the credit. It's almost like it's a different guy every single night who's leading them. Jimmy Butler has taken the role of a leader, which, again, it's been a little hairy in his career to take that role. And this is a team that we hadn't really talked about. Tyler Hero's been great for them as well. He had 15 yesterday. So this basketball team, to me, plays the right brand to make a deep run in the postseason. They were the 5 seed, and the Pacers were the 4 seed. I know Sabonis is not with the Pacers, and you can tell some of that, but they have dominated this series so far. They lead 2-0. And so first class to Jimmy Butler for kind of changing his game and the way that he plays and everything that, got him from Chicago to the Timberwolves to the Sixers and kind of bounced all over the place. And now it seems like he's really found his home.
And you're right. He's not a good three-point shooter, but in that first game, he hit 2 threes in the last 3.5 minutes or so that put them over the top.
Yesterday, it was 2 of 3, but he's not shooting 9 of them. I mean, he's 20-something% for the season.
Right, and you don't want him shooting that many. But he made those 2 that really kind of put the game away in game 1. And you're right, he did make 2 after. But Jimmy Butler, give me one adjective to try it, tough.
Yeah,
he's tough.
He is. Hey, he will grind on the defensive end as well.
Yeah. My second class, we kind of did this in the first segment, so I'm not going to go through all of the protocols again, but I'm going to give it to the SEC. These new enhanced testing measures, this is good with a chance to be great. This is one of the things that gets you to a yes. I don't need to go over it all again, what we did in the first segment, but they have given an answer to what are you going to do about myocarditis. They are going to test for it extensively, and they laid out exactly how they're going to do it, exactly how many times they're going to do it. They ramped up the COVID testing. This is another way to get me to a yes. So it's good. The protocols are good. If it works, it'll be great.
So on Tuesday, we mentioned Fernando Tatis hitting the grand slam. The Rangers were crying about it, and I think we all had it in our first, second, no class. Well, they got some good karma from that grand slam because the Padres have hit a grand slam for the 4th straight game since then. So 3 games after they hit that Tatis grand slam. And so they have told baseball what they can do with the unwritten rule of not swinging at a 3-0 pitch, apparently, when you're up by, 8 runs or whatever. So the Padres have a young team. They have a very fun, exciting team. I talked about it on Tuesday. This is a franchise that, since they've built Petco Park in the early 2000s, have been a very bad team. They have been a doormat in the NL West. When the Dodgers come to town, when the Giants come to town, they have way more fans than the Padres do. But they have finally found a young core. Eric Hosmer, I throw him in there too. He had a grand slam yesterday. They've got Machado, and they've got them all playing, again, kind of like the Heat, they've got them all playing team baseball. And Tatis, for me, I know that you're a Soto guy. I know that Acuna is Paul and I. We talk about him because we're a Braves fan, but he might be the most exciting young baseball player going right now. So they've been a lot of fun to watch. Will Myers, no batting gloves up there. Forgot about him. He hadn't done anything since he left the Tampa Bay Rays, but he had a grand salami. This team has something going, and if they can just figure out how to get effective starting pitching, they can make a deep run.
I saw something this morning. This was in a game that ended late last night between the Giants and the Angels that I've never really seen this reaction before. Sean Anderson's a relief pitcher for the Giants, and he threw a fastball right around Mike Trout's head last night. The only problem was he had done the same thing 2 days before, twice. So Joe Madden, the manager of the Angels, had about enough. You know, Trout's his star, but I think he might have reacted this way even if he wasn't throwing him. He went out after the game and said, enough is enough. You have a young man that is not ready to be here. He said he doesn't command his fastball well enough to be in the major leagues.
Ooh.
Whoa. I've seen some reactions to guys getting thrown at before. You know, it's like, okay, you got an axe to grind. You thought somebody was trying to show you up. You're just trying to send a message. You're on the inside of the plate, whatever. I mean, I thought I had heard all of the things that go along with being thrown at.
I've never heard that.
I have never heard a manager come out and say, this guy is dangerous. He is Nuke LaLoosh, okay? He's going to hit the Bull mascot. You guys got to send him down. Let him go hit somebody in Double-A. Because this guy does not deserve – he's not a good enough player to be in the major leagues. I have never heard a manager come out and say anything quite like that, that your guy is so bad, he's dangerous. He is dangerous to my team. He is dangerous to the game. I was like, whoa, are you kidding me? A guy that's throwing at Mike Trout's head, like –
the Nuke LaLoosh out there, my goodness.
Sean Anderson, you stink. They say you got to go, man. You don't belong in the show. Wow.
That is a bold comment, but can't really argue it. I mean,
stop it. Look, you got to command this. He said, look, one gets away from everybody, from time to time. He goes, this guy's lost 3 near my star's head in over the course of 2 games. You got to go down. You got to go to AAA. You got to go somewhere else.
All right, so I was going to go for my no class Terrio because he gave me the team nickname the Irish. But you know what? I thought about it. It could have been worse, Terrio. So I'm not going to throw the.
Is he in the building today?
It could have been. I don't know. Who knows at this point? Who knows if he's suspended, if he can come in, or what's going on there? Yeah. But at least he didn't give me the Crimson Tide. So it could have been worse. Last year he gave me the Seminoles. This year he gave me the Irish.
There's a Crimson Tide youth team in Baton Rouge.
Yes.
Don't you just throw that name out?
Well, last year they had duct tape over the Crimson Tide, and they wrote their own team name. So if he would have done that to me, I would have waited till he got here for the Riot Radio Hour. We would have had words.
You know how bad people in this town dislike Alabama? Our rock station, the LSU flagship, Eagle 98.1, after the 2012 National Championship game, we got so many complaints when we played Sweet Home Alabama, which is a Lynyrd Skynyrd song. It's a multi-platinum.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a
staple.
It's a staple of any classic rock station.
Yeah.
We got so many complaints. We took it out of the rotation.
Yeah,
and I think it stayed out of the rotation.
First class, whoever did that,
like 6 or 7 years, it stayed out of.
No class ever put it back in rotation.
I don't know that it's back in the rotation. So you're gonna tell me a youth team's gonna be the Crimson Tide in Baton Rouge? Who wants to boo 8-year-olds, man? Come on.
Yeah, because
that's no
that
class.
just would not go in my house.
No,
so,
indeed not.
So Terrio didn't get my no class, although he was close. The Knicks. Just bad lottery, bad owner, bad coach, bad leadership, bad everything. You're the most valuable NBA franchise. Figure it out. You play in the Mecca. If you've never been to Madison Square Garden, go watch anything in there. It is somewhere that just when you walk in, you feel all of the magic that place has had in its history. You have to figure it out. It's been bad on bad on bad. You make bad decision after bad decision. You trade Porzingis because you think somebody's going to sign with you, and then you sign Taj Gibson, and you just sign Julius Randle. What are you doing? You should be one of those franchises that makes the postseason every year, and it's desirable for you to come. They're like the Cowboys of the NBA, worth a lot of money, but can't do a damn thing right.
And you're still rooting for them.
Maybe it's me.
Maybe it's you.
Well, when I started rooting for them, it was because they had grit. They had John Starks, Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing. They had grit to them. They didn't beat those Bulls teams, but they let them know that they played them. And that's why I started liking them.
Okay. That's been a long time ago.
I know.
A long time ago.
I know it.
We're brought to you by Small Sliders, East Boyd at Nicholson. Head on by for our freshly prepared slider, some fries, great shakes there as well. They bring us the lunch hour on Fridays here. Smalls Sliders, East Boyd at Nicholson. Slide on through today. Hang with Hester and Hanny.
Blaine, slide on through for the cookies and cream milkshake.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com, helping you financially in so many different ways that they can do it. You owe it to yourself to check out the rates right now, whether you're in the market for a new home with more purchasing power than you've ever had, or if you want to do a refi, free up a little bit of cash in the short term with the ability to skip a mortgage payment or two, and the better long-term benefits of paying less for your home with the smaller interest rates. It's very easy to start. Go to gmfsmortgage.com. You'll meet with a local counselor. They'll answer some questions. Talk about your specific goals and how to get you there. Get you pre-qualified for a new home if that's what you want. Maybe a construction loan onto your current home is what you're looking for right now. The counselor will walk you step by step all the way through to the closing, and there won't be any surprises. I think you're going to be really pleased with how rapid that process goes. Do what I did and thousands of others have done and start your journey at gmfsmortgage.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7, The Tiger.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Join us for a Friday edition of Game Time with Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz. The guys get you ready for all the action on deck this weekend in sports as they're live from Just Winging It on Hooshatoo. Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Our lunch hour brought to you by Smalls Sliders, East Boyd at Nicholson. Slide on through today. You know, my wife's working from home right now. Get home yesterday. She's still working. Go get me some sliders. Yes, I'll go get you some sliders. It's right very close to where we live. So it's kind of become a staple over at the house.
It is
she's a big fan, so we're a big fan. You know?
Yes, very easy access right there on Nicholson. Almost anywhere you're going in South Baton Rouge, it is right there.
So we're getting some still shots from some of the camps because not a ton of video.
Right.
One of the stills that we got yesterday from Cincinnati Bengals camp caught your attention with Joe Burrow.
Well, I don't know if you can fit this on the screen, but if you can, you got to put it up.
Joe Burrow been doing some work,
man. Joe Burrow has been grinding in the weight room apparently because that comparison they've got on the other side, on that right side of him, is Mike Allstott, and it kind of looks the same. Now, he's not as big as Mike Allstott probably, but he looks much bigger than he did when he finished up at LSU. Whatever he was doing in his parents' basement, sign me up for that.
Well, it was something pretty significant because I would pick him right now at probably somewhere in the area of 230 pounds.
I mean, it looks like it. And we have seen videos of him throwing the football. It hasn't hampered his throwing motion at all.
He looks, I would say, somewhere between 10, maybe even as much as 15 pounds heavy. A good weight. I'm not saying he's sloppy. He bowed up.
And so he quoted that tweet and said, "Low man trophy." So the low man trophy goes to the nation's best fullback. I'm actually on the committee of the low man trophy. You normally have to be a fullback, but by God, if anybody not a fullback can win the award, it is Sir Joseph Burrow. We'll even throw a neck roll on you if we need to.
Wait, this
Joe.
is the Lowman Trophy goes to a college player or a pro player?
Just goes to the nation's best fullback, whatever we're feeling. It's with Barstool Sports, so we kind of make our own rules.
Okay.
So, Joe, I mean, PFT said yesterday, nobody can get lower than someone with the last name Burrow.
Okay.
Burrow into the ground. You get it? You see it?
Yeah.
By the way, I'm on the committee again, so nomination, Joe Burrow for this year. I've done Torrey Carter the last 2 years. Torrey, maybe we can throw you in there at the back end, but we're giving Joe some love this year.
The word out of Bengals camp is he has impressed in every facet of the game, on the field, off the field. You see that picture, it's like, man, he wasn't sitting down in his parents' basement doing nothing. He put that time to good work. Our number 2, Bill Bender from the Sporting News, is with us. Also, Brandon Taylor, former LSU Tiger, brought to you by Smalls Sliders, Eastboard at Nicholson, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a new Camry for $239 per month or take 0% financing for 6 years. $239 per month or 0% for 6 years. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Hi, this is Chance Inman, President and Chief Operating Officer for Janney King Gulf Coast. Here are some ways to protect yourself and those around you from the coronavirus. Wash your hands often and thoroughly. Cover coughs and sneezes with your elbow. Disinfect high-touch surfaces regularly. Use non-contact methods for greeting others. And avoid touching your face. Following these steps, as well as social distancing, should help all of us stay healthy.
Janney King, the king of clean.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Hand injury lawyers. Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hour number 2, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. If you're listening in the Shreveport area, 1130 The Tiger. Watching us on CST, on our YouTube channel, 104.5 ESPN. And previous interviews on our Hanging with Hester and Hanny page. We're brought to you today by Small Sliders on East Boyd at Nicholson. Slide on through for freshly made sliders and fries. Great milkshakes as well. We love them. Not that we're campaigning to have anybody bring them here. Besh.
Yeah,
last week was so good.
Yeah,
right?
don't make Jacob do it again. Best just do your job and go bring us some small sliders.
Get off the dime. Bill Bender from the Sporting News is with us. Bill, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Charles, Jacob. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Bill, we promised at the behest of our video producer, Paul O'Neill, yes, that's his real name, just like the former Yankee, that we have, after our initial story today, a COVID-free Friday. So we are pledging here a COVID-free interview with you, if that's okay.
Yeah, Paul. Paul O'Neill's from right down the road here in Reynoldsburg, the original Paul O'Neill.
Uh-huh.
So, I'm assuming your producer's every bit the great clutch hitter and fielder that guy was.
No, not even close. But
okay.
He likes the right team, though. He's a Braves fan, not a Yankee.
He's a Braves fan. So we did this, I guess about a month ago. We did a COVID-free Friday when there was no news, and we just enjoyed it so much that, we can steer around those stories. So I'm going to start off with a football question. We saw some top 25s this week. Adjusted top 25. So when you go to fill out a top 25 without the teams that are playing, how strange is that exercise?
I did that this week for SN, and I think I had LSU 4. It's the weird part for me was looking at the original one, and you axe off 10 teams. That's our original one had 10 that got knocked off. You move some other ones in, but it's the bump ups that make it interesting. So all of a sudden Texas and Texas A&M are ranked 9 and 10. And it doesn't look, what is our favorite word when looking at polls? Overrated. Well, you're not overrated when there's only 76 teams to choose from all of a sudden.
Bill, we're hearing obviously about all the teams in the SEC and their schedules, and we're hearing about teams in the ACC and can anybody challenge Clemson? But we haven't really dove into the Big 12, and it's been Oklahoma, it seems like, for so long. And they've made it to the college football playoff, it seems like, every single year. Is that going to be the case again this year? I know Spencer Rattler is coming in as the quarterback. He was highly recruited, obviously. Do you think anybody challenges Oklahoma there at the top?
I think we all saw that SEC Shorts video this week and how the Big 12 almost looked at it as an afterthought. They do a fantastic job, by the way. I laughed very hard at that. But that's kind of the rub, that Oklahoma's won 5 straight Big 12 championships. They've probably got the best team on paper, even without Kennedy Brooks. But you've watched them. How many movies do you need to watch against an SEC team in the semifinal before you already know what the ending was? Yeah. That said, the team they had against Georgia a few years ago and Baker, that team missed an opportunity. So I think they can compete, but it's on them to go win one.
Bill, if you had to fill out a Heisman ballot right now that didn't include the name Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, who would be at the top of your list?
God, that's a tough one. I mean, so many star players are out. I mean, Chuba Hubbard's still around at Oklahoma State. Spencer Rattler could have. I mean, that's just by default. Oklahoma sent a finalist there the last 3 years at quarterback. The numbers will be there. If you're looking for kind of that dark horse candidate, it could be like a guy like Sam Howell. And really, the biggest question is which SEC quarterback's going to emerge as that Heisman contender. You know somebody's going to have a big year, and it's a tough call because you've got programs like Georgia, LSU, and Alabama are all breaking in new guys.
Bill Doring and I were talking this morning on our show, and we were talking about the Heisman Trophy list, and we were talking about, receivers not really having the opportunity to win the award, it seems like, anymore. But when you look at the SEC, you might have your three best offensive players be receivers, the duo over at Alabama and Jamar Chase. I mean, could we possibly see, because this year's already so all over the place, a receiver be on that list?
Well, I mean, it hasn't happened since Desmond Howard, and for a receiver to do it, you have to have three things. You have to have, one, just a monster season, which Jamar did last year. Two, you have to have a monster game in the big games or a signature moment, which Desmond did with the Heisman pose. And three, you really got to do other things almost, like a couple reverses or, a kick return here or then. Actually, and I'll let you guys run with this later, but if I was picking one of those off-the-wall defense or candidates, it'd probably be a guy like Derek Stingley, who we already know he has tremendous talent, but, throw him at receiver a little bit. If he returns a punt, does those things that the Honey Badger did, this could be a year where that happens.
Bill Bender from the Sporting News is our guest. Bill, now that you've had a little bit of time to digest the schedules from all of the Power 5 leagues, how likely is it that this is the first year that there is one or even more than one team in the playoff with more than one loss?
Now, that's an interesting question. Now, I think it's more still, can you get through a season 9-1 and win your conference championship? And really the more dynamic question to me is how many SEC teams are going to be in the playoffs. Is it 2? Is there a way it's 3? And remember, we've had that conversation when all 5 Power 5 conferences were going, where there were scenarios where 2 and 3 SEC teams could get in. So how SEC flavored is the playoff? When I was telling somebody this earlier today, if you go down the schedule week by week right now, and you get to September 26th, I'd say every week but one, the best game on the schedule is an SEC game. And October 10th would be the one. It's close. I mean, there's good SEC games, but that's Oklahoma, Texas Day too.
Bill, let's stay in the SEC, and one of the teams that's trying to become a contender, and we've heard the offseason hype really for the last couple of seasons, and when talking about Texas A&M, they add Florida from the East as one of their 2 additional games. We've made so much of their schedule over the last couple of months. It got more difficult, obviously, when you went to an all-SEC schedule. Do you still think the Aggies can be a contender, not only in the SEC West, but the entire SEC?
You got to win again in those. At some point, you got to win. John has upgraded the recruiting there. I think their roster is more talented than it was. But you got to show up in those big games. And I know you guys have probably spent a lot of time talking about that SEC schedule, but yeah, they didn't do them any favors. They certainly didn't do Missouri any favors with the crossover games. But I don't think Missouri was going to contend for an SEC championship anyway.
Bill Bender from the Sporting News is our guest. Bill, now that we're into actual drills, getting ready for the season, and it's a little over a month away, do you think that there is an actual quarterback competition at Georgia?
It's hard to say. I mean, they'll go with the guy that is best equipped to do the job. I mean, Jamie Newman obviously had a head start on being on campus sooner and developing some familiarity with Monken, the new offensive coordinator. And I do think they're going to rule with him. But it'll be interesting to see if JT Daniels can find a way to get involved. I mean, he did have a great freshman season. The way Georgia's offense is typically constructed, Daniels probably wouldn't be such a bad fit. I mean, they're going to have good running backs, have big years. But I think what they saw when LSU demolished them in the SEC championship game, that you need a quarterback that can do it all. And I think that's why Jamie Newman probably take the first snap.
All right, Bill. So I've been on the Kentucky bandwagon for the last couple of seasons, and I'm trying to convince Charles Hanagriff across from me that Kentucky is a real quality football team. You've got them at number 16 on the top 25, 18-8 in the last 2 seasons. You're not too far away from Kentucky there in Ohio as well. So give us a breakdown of Kentucky and what you think of the Wildcats.
A lot of starters back, but they've got to find a presence that replaces what Lynn Bowden did for them. Such a talented player. Converted receiver, did so much as running quarterback for them last year. And they'll need to find that. But, yeah, I think the other thing with them is, we know Florida and Georgia and what they have. I think what's at stake in the SEC East this year is which team's going to be that third wheel that makes it interesting. Is it going to be Kentucky and what they've done with Mark Stoops, and you know who I'm going to say, is it Tennessee? And kind of the building through recruiting that Jeremy Pruitt's done, experienced quarterback, beat Kentucky last year, got off the mat after a horrendous start, and we'll see what they can do. But there is some buzz around the ball, and I think that's something to keep in mind. They're right there in those rankings too.
Bill, let's go to the state of Mississippi. Which first-year coach makes the earlier impact, Mike Leach or Lane Kiffin?
That's tough to say. I mean, Leach has got to install that system, at least with Costello at quarterback. It'd be interesting to see how much they throw it around. Fun opener for them against LSU, so we'll get to see it right away. I think Kiffin's got a little talent to work with, and I've read enough this offseason that there's this belief that they may. Let's put it this way: if I've got to pick one team to pull that kind of season swinging upset in a lot of ways, you know what I mean? Like rather than knock off LSU, Auburn, or Alabama and kind of mess up the race, I think it'd be Ole Miss.
All right, Bill, last one for me. Give us your group of 5 team that you think can actually make a run because, as you mentioned earlier, there's 2 Power 5 conferences that are no longer in the way. We've been asking, would a G5 team get into the playoff for a long time? This could be the year with those 2 conferences gone. So give us your G5 team that has the best shot.
Well, there's one program left in the great state of Ohio. And of the 8 that were supposed to play, there's 1 remaining. It's Cincinnati in the American Athletic Conference. Luke Fickle's done a fantastic job there. They got a lot coming back on defense, a 3-year starter at quarterback. They got to beat Memphis. But UC's gone on this run before when they had Brian Kelly. So I think the Bearcats are very interesting this year as a group of 5 potential buster. And if they did go undefeated, I mean, I've kind of made the case that doesn't that kind of make the playoff committee's job easier? Hey, we'll throw you in. See, we threw you in. And then if they get beat soundly, then we'll know.
Bill Bender, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, Bill. You know what that was right there? That was 10 minutes with a national college football writer about nothing but football. Wasn't that fun?
You damn right.
Wasn't that cool?
Yes, it was. Absolutely it was, because a lot of people say it can't be done, Hanny, but where there's a will, there's a way. What I say last week, you just got to have a little faith.
Give me to a yes.
Have a little faith.
Paul O'Neill, you're a genius.
Great job, Paul.
Great idea.
Even though you can't hit home runs, you hit home runs in this room.
He's due for like another show suggestion in like 2022. It took him 2 years to make a show suggestion.
Well, at least he showed up. Playboy Marty's not even here.
The Suns didn't move up in the lottery. What did you expect?
It's true.
Take a break. Brandon Taylor with us at the bottom of the hour. We are brought to you by Smalls Sliders. East Boyd at Nicholson. Slide on through right now for freshly prepared food. Sliders, fries, and great shakes as well. We had some yesterday, which doesn't mean we can't have them again today.
Back to back.
At Smalls Sliders, East Boyd at Nicholson. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
You know, if you ever pick up a shovel, you need to pick up a phone first. Here in Louisiana, you could hit a line. And if you do, one of those shallow buried lines that you didn't even know was there on your property, it's going to be big problems for you or your neighbor. That's why you got to call 811. It's a simple phone call. It's free, it's easy, and it's the law. Give the operator your address. Within 48 hours, somebody will be on your property to mark the location of all the buried lines. That way, you or your contractor can avoid them, and you don't have all of those problems that come when you hit one of those lines.
Yeah, we cannot stress enough. It is free. It is a free service to you, and it's an incredibly easy service. You pick up the phone, you give them a call, and it's easy once they mark the location of where things are buried. Don't be that guy in the neighborhood that hits a water main. You ruin the birthday party, Handy. You ruin the baby shower. You ruin the whole week. You know that's going to last longer than that week, so we're going to save you some time, some effort, some pain. Call 811 before you dig. It's the law.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube page. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat. Find highlights for each show's channel and get notified whenever we go live.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org.
Hey, it's Musso. Come join us for Mondays Off the Bench. We recap the weekend, the latest from LSU and Saints training camps, an update on the NBA playoffs, and of course we have our weekend winners. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Extending the lunch hour with our friends over at Smalls Sliders. East Board at Nicholson. Slide on through. Real easy. Get you 1 slider, 2 sliders, 3 sliders, 4 sliders. It's the whole menu, man.
Get a party pack too.
Yeah, sliders, fries.
Got 97 kids like me and Besh do. Just get you a party pack.
That's it. I see what you did there.
I see what you did there, Kate.
Hey, we need to say a thank you. Yesterday, we were helping to promote the Our Lady of the Lake Blood Drive at Ashley Manor. They reached their goal yesterday. So everybody that went out and gave, thank you so much. It's really important right now. They are in need, and you did a great job yesterday. We want to say thank you to everybody that went out and donated. Saints on the practice field this morning. They are done for the day, but it did have some things that we wanted to touch on a little bit, and we did it. There was some media availability after practice yesterday. We've asked questions about Jameis Winston. Some of the early returns were good. He certainly showed up in tremendous shape. This was Michael Thomas yesterday on Jameis Winston.
Every day he's coming out here, he's getting better. He's learning the offense. I see him during walkthroughs, always on the side with DJ, going over the plays, always asking questions. I'm real impressed with him, and just can't wait to see what this year has in hold for him, just to play behind a guy like Drew Brees and Taysom, who's played a lot of football together, and just, those coaches that they have up there, Coach Lombardi and Pete and Sean, just to be around just such a great group of people like that, it just elevates everyone that's came and played quarterback here game. So I just can't wait to see how far he can take it as well.
If you have a crystal ball and you can look into the future, you could see Jameis Winston completing a lot of passes to Michael Thomas. I mean, at least that's that's my vision of it. If things go as well as you want them,
he passes the audition this year.
Yeah, these are two young players that are, well, Thomas is in a run. I would say entering his prime, but his prime's already started and it's continuing. And Winston, if things go well, you could see him taking over as the starting quarterback for the Saints as soon as next year if things go well. Now, he's had a very good start to camp. Today, not so much. Rough days, you're going to have some. Today was a rough day for him.
Yeah, Mike Triplett reported Jameis Winston is yet to find his groove in Saints full-team drills. This week, a handful of PBUs Friday, followed by a P.J. Williams interception. And, again, you're going to have your days in training camp. And let's remember, just because he's not a rookie, he's still in a new system with a new team. But, reports are they're encouraged by how much he's been able to retain, but he has not yet found that groove that they're looking for.
I think as they get closer to the season, probably some of his time in team drills is going to ramp up. Mike Detillier was on AFR yesterday, made a good point. He said, Drew Brees doesn't need an overwhelming amount of practice. In fact, he probably needs the rest more. I think as they get closer and closer, you're going to see maybe Jameis Winston get more work in these team drills. Thomas was also talking about his new running mate on the other side, Emmanuel Sanders.
I love it. Going to work with Emmanuel. He's a competitor. He's played a lot of football. I always say that, but he's still real fresh. Still has a lot left in the tank. You can tell. He comes out here with a sense of urgency, trying to get better, win every rep, and he competes. And as long as you know how to compete at a high level and can come out here every day and put everything to the side and just compete, you're going to be successful in this league. That's what I learned, and that's what I respect the most about him. Since day one, he's came out here and he's tried to get better, and he's always working on his game on the side also. And I'm excited to see him in our offense as well.
When he made that transition last year from Denver to San Francisco, his impact was immediate. So his ability to pick up this system is not my concern. I am curious, and I've asked every Saints writer that we've had on, give me a receiver that you like besides Thomas and Sanders, and I think we've gotten 3 or 4 different answers. So that tells me that nobody has really taken control there, and you figure that Michael Thomas is going to be the Saints' leading receiver, and Alvin Kamara will probably catch the second most passes on this team, and Emmanuel Sanders will be third. I want to know who's next because Brees will spread the ball around. Maybe it's Jared Cook. Probably. Maybe it's another one of those receivers. But Sanders is not a guy that I'm worried about. I suspect he will make an impact immediately.
And they needed a veteran guy that could play in the slot. And Ted Ginn has been a good player in the NFL, but Ted Ginn tries to take the top off of defense. I mean, he is a down-the-field receiver. Emmanuel Sanders can work in that intermediate range, right? He can work in that 7-yard to 15-yard range. He can pick up that 3rd and 8. That's really his specialty. So this, to me, was a home run signing by the Saints because I truly feel like I know how it's going to work out. And Drew needed that option. He needed that other guy whenever Michael Thomas, and there's not a lot of times that he's not open, but he needed to be able to go to that second progression because Jared Cook's a very nice player, but he's been a little inconsistent as far as, the first 8 games didn't look like the second set of 8 games a year ago. So if they can get a full 16 games out of him, who is, I think, an elite pass catcher, and then get Emmanuel Sanders' versatility on some of those 3rd down conversions, that's exactly what the Saints needed because Kamara catching the football, absolutely, you're going to use that as a weapon, but you don't want it to be one that you're having to count on 3rd and 6s to him to run an option route to pick up those 6 yards.
Sean Payton talking about where the Saints are finally on the installation of everything they need to get going.
I think it would be a little bit different. Look, we would have just finished playing our first preseason game. We'd be preparing for our second preseason game, today being a Thursday. So I don't know that we're all the way in where we practice goal line, full pads, where we've done some of these other things. They're coming. But I'd say we'd be a tick off from where we would be in a normal training camp environment.
You miss preseason football?
No.
Every year we say, well, just tired of this preseason stuff. But I did find myself last weekend. There was a preseason game on. I'd probably be watching a little bit of it.
Oh,
have
God
it
bless you.
have it on in the background. Just a little.
I'm not watching
everyone.
preseason football in the pandemic.
Really?
You
watched football games from 20 years ago during the pandemic.
Yeah, I'll do that, but I'm not watching one where I don't think the guy's probably going to be, involved in the regular season. No, I was not a fan because
no, none of us were.
The preseason. So when you're a fullback, there's not many on the roster, and so you're going to play like the entire game. Even when the rest of your buddies and the starters go out, and you're like, wait a minute, the other starters are out. Yeah, you're a fullback. We're going to run power 93 times in the third and fourth quarters, so go ahead and get you a neck roll from the equipment manager. So maybe I got PTSD from it.
So this is just your own personal experience that you didn't like.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
I understand completely.
The only time I really watch preseason football is if there's an LSU guy that is a tweener on the roster, he's got a chance to make it, and then I'll kind of pay attention, see what he can do in the third and fourth quarter, whatever position. I remember watching, different quarterbacks that we've had through here. When Danny Etling was with the Patriots, I remember trying to watch to see if he was going to make the roster. I
watched a little bit of the Saints, when they had preseason, but mostly it was something that you had on while you were doing something else. Yeah. It's a perfect thing that I'm not going to go, and it's not appointment viewing. It's kind of one of those things that if you got something on the grill, put it on the TV. If you're playing cards, or if you're just on, catch a little piece here.
Background noise, if you will.
Okay. Look, during the pandemic, give me some background noise. Any background noise would have been welcome. Former LSU Tiger Brandon Taylor will be with us when we come back. We are brought to you by Smalls Sliders. Slide on through Eastboard and Nicholson. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law,
Know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, you can get into a new Highlander for $4,000 off MSRP. Yes, $4,000 off MSRP, and we have many in stock. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Hey, can someone get Gordy on the line? Is Terrio still suspended? I need to know. Find out tomorrow. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We are brought to you by Small Sliders. Right there, East Boyd at Nicholson, not terribly far from the LSU campus. Slide on through for freshly made sliders and fries. Great milkshakes as well at Smalls.
All right, excited to welcome back on to the show Brandon Taylor, of course, former LSU Tiger, San Diego Charger, now part of the LSU Sports Radio Network. Brandon, I heard you were actually coming in studio today, but you couldn't because your arms wouldn't fit through the door.
Yeah, we had to remodel that building a little bit. I talked to Gordy, but he said it'll probably be 2-3 years before we can get that done.
Well, is it true, or is it just the small shirt that you were wearing made him look a little bit bigger?
I don't wear small shirts. It's just some people make shirts look smaller. It's all about the effort you put in, Jacob.
All right, that's fair enough. That's Murph that wears the small shirts. I got it. All right. Hey, all right, Brandon. Hey, we wanted to have you back on because obviously there's been news in the LSU defensive back room. Kerry Vincent decided to not play this season, get ready for the NFL draft. That was someone who you were counting on to be your starting nickel. What does that loss mean for LSU's defense?
That's a big loss because Kerry is very versatile in the secondary. He's played corner, he's played nickel, he's played safety, and he knows the entire defense. And he's a leader, and he's a person that you was looking to come back and be a 4-year starter on that defense and just bring the chemistry and leadership to the defense that you know that he could and make big plays.
So now you're going to have to probably move Cordell Flott, a guy that was possibly going to start on the outside. You slip him down to the nickelback position. Elias Ricks, who is a true freshman, looks like he's going to probably be that other starter alongside Derek Stingley Jr. So what challenges, when you move from outside and you kind of played outside most of your time and then you go into the nickel, college football, Brandon, has kind of changed as we've talked about before. A lot of teams putting their best receiver in the slot to try to create that mismatch.
Oh, yes, indeed, because you had that option route in the slot receiver. So it's very difficult, and you have to be probably the most disciplined player on the defense to play the inside, play the nickel or the dime position because you also got to play the run too. So you got to be able to tackle and you got to fit gaps also while playing coverage and playing double moves and option routes.
That's not even something that we've talked about, but it's a great point, Brandon. Yes, you are playing the nickel. Yes, you're covering receivers, but in this day and age of the RPOs, you're going to be on the edge there, and there's a good chance you better come in and you got to set the edge. You got to feel whenever the running back gets the ball or the quarterback keeps it, depending on what side you are for the RPO. So being able to have the ability to get off a block and tackle is important now as well.
Oh, yes, because you got to realize Tyrann Mathieu in 2011 had a 70 tackle season playing nickel.
Yeah.
So you got to be able to get in there and be physical, and you got to be able to hold your weight because those tackles pull on you. Like, you got to turn it back inside to the rest of the defense.
Catching up with Brandon Taylor, former LSU safety, now part of the LSU Sports Radio Network here on Hangin with Hester and Hanny. All right, Brandon, something else I wanted to ask you, Jacoby Stevens. He is really a guy that has played on all three levels of the LSU defense throughout his career. He kind of reminds me of you a little bit in the fact that he can be on the line of scrimmage. He can play linebacker in certain situations, maybe sub packages if you need him to. He can also play a deep safety. What do you think is the best position, though, for Jacoby Stevens? If you went out there and you said, I'd love to see him play this, what is it?
I would love to see him stay at safety, but be more around the box, kind of like how the Kansas City Chiefs are doing with Tyron right now. I mean, I know he covers a lot also, but just let him run wild. He's a joker. He's a wild card. So use him as that way. Don't mix it up and keep the defense confused because Jacoby Stevens is the type of player that defenses, they have to scheme off of him. He can't. You have as a defensive coordinator, you have all the opportunity to have control of the game because an offensive coordinator, he's iron number 3.
Another player I want to ask you about is Jabril Cox. So he's transferring from North Dakota State. He is penciled in as a starter at linebacker, one of the linebacker spots there. Obviously, this is a guy that NFL scouts said he is a prospect. He could be drafted in the later rounds in this NFL draft, but obviously going up a notch, going from the FCS to the FBS level. Have you had a chance to watch any of his North Dakota State stuff?
Oh, yes. I think the sky's the limit with him. If you put him in the right position to be successful, he'll just take off. It's like a wildfire. It tastes like a wildfire. And then you got to think the type of chemistry, like, in that linebacker room, like, the linebackers that we produced over the past 3-4 years is unreal. And he's seen that, and that's why he came down here and made the best of his opportunity to transfer to LSU. And I just think the sky's the limit for him.
Now, Brandon, one of the things that we've questioned on this defense, who is going to be the guy that gets after the quarterback? Who's going to be those defensive ends in this new 4-3 defense? And you've got a lot of candidates. Now, you've got some freshmen, right? You got some freshmen that Coach O is extremely high on. Ojulari and Webb there. Coach O even mentioned maybe the best freshman that he's seen getting after the passer. So what's that transition like, right? If you're a true freshman, I said it yesterday, but I'll get your thoughts because you play defense at the highest level. I feel like that can transition because at the end of the day, yes, you're coming from high school, but it's, hey, go get the quarterback. It's third down, put your hand in the ground and go get the quarterback. I feel like that can translate more than a lot of other positions on the defense.
Yes, it's since from the age of 5, see ball, get ball. You see the ball, go get it. And they, as a true freshman, I think that's the easiest position to come into college and transition into because you putting your hand in the dirt and you going after it. Yes, you got to learn. You got to know how to contain and do your twists and stunts with other defensive linemen, but that's going to come natural. That doesn't take as much studying as breaking down coverages and all that other type of stuff. I don't know how much they will have them dropping in coverage with Bo Pelini, which I don't when I was in that scheme, I remember Raheem dropping a few times, but it wasn't much. It was hand in the dirt, both defensive linemen down, and getting after the quarterback.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we talked about. You got to get pressure with your down 4, right? You got to get pressure. You got to create that pressure. Now, Bo's going to bring guys from different angles, but you're counting on your front 4 to be able to get pressure and those other guys getting into coverage.
Yes, a defensive lineman in Bo Pelini's scheme, if you're not rich after your 4th year in college, something is wrong because that defense is designed for you to eat and be full at the end of your 4-year career and go on and make a lot of money.
Yeah, I played fullback. There's no shot of getting rich there, Brandon. My hand was in the dirt too, but not the same. Wasn't exactly the same. They didn't pass out those contracts.
Oh yeah, man. You know, y'all turn into the worst. Y'all getting the same treatment that offensive line get right now, like centers and guards.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Just compare me to a guard. No, but you are exactly right. Hey, Brandon, always a pleasure to catch up with you, man. Go buy some bigger shirts, and we'll catch up soon.
All right, Jacob. Head.
All right, there he is. Brandon Taylor, former number 18, now part of the LSU Sports Radio Network. I gave him a hard time, but my man's still in shape. Maybe I need to get in the gym.
Trey Turner got paid. He was a guard.
Yeah, okay, that's a fair point.
he got paid quite a bit.
Not every guy that with his hand in the dirt is
was Trey Turner.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
sound just a little bit put off.
No, it's fine. But to his point, I mean, Bo does expect a lot from the edge guys. And he'll be aggressive and he'll create pressure if he has to, but he wants you to get after the quarterback. And that's the one spot, Hanny, that we really just don't know.
I think it may have been the number one attribute that Ed Orgeron wanted, that they are most in lockstep on. I think that, Dave Aranda did a fine job here, but I think the personality of this defense more fits what Orgeron wants to do. A more attacking style, and especially up front defensively. I mean, Orgeron's coached defensive line since he has been in the business. And when you're a head coach, when you get to that level, I think you still harbor a little bit. There's a little bit extra for the position group that you grew up coaching. I mean, for Orgeron, it's defensive linemen. For Saban, it's defensive backs. Even in a full practice, where's Saban? Oh, if he's going to work with a group, he's going to go work with the DBs. Jimbo's going to work with the quarterbacks. Gus Malzahn's going to work with the quarterbacks. I just think that's natural. I mean, you go back to your roots, and that is, I think, why Orgeron picked Bo Pelini. I think that's where his comfort level lies.
I wonder what they do. So that they've got such a surplus of defensive tackles. Don't count out them going, a bigger defensive front against certain teams and trying to create that rush and maybe putting a guy that you consider a defensive tackle maybe on the edge, especially if you have a slender guy on the other side and you want to try to equal that out a little bit, because the defensive tackles that they recruited in this 2020 class, they have pass rush ability. And so that's something that could possibly come as well.
Well, you could do that. For instance, Glenn Logan was a 3-4 defensive end. Could you move him out there in certain packages? Yeah. I'll tell you something else that you could do. If these freshmen are as good a pass rushers as they are being made out to be, Ojulari and Webb especially, there are times where teams will go with their best 4 pass rushers in a third down situation, regardless of their size. We've seen Mustang packages where you go
Marcel
with
Brooks last year.
Correct. Okay, so you can do what you're talking about, or you can go the other way. And I think Pelini, he'll have both of those clubs in his bag. I don't think he's going to pigeonhole into one thing. It'll be all right.
And no position rotates more than the defensive line in football.
Take a break. In hour number 3 today, Matt Hayes from Bleacher Report will be with us. We're brought to you by Smalls Sliders. We are on the corner of East Boyd and Nicholson. Slide on through today for great sliders, fries, and shakes. Hanging with Hanny and Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, we're brought to you by Baton Rouge Foundation Repair. They can be found online at brfoundation.com. Baton Rouge Foundation Repair offers services to correct the settlement of both slab foundations and pier and beam foundations. Are you considering buying a house that has foundation problems? Some companies say that their work will fail if there is poor drainage around your slab, and you might be asked to pay again. Baton Rouge Foundation Repair's water shield pilings are engineered to withstand poor drainage conditions. Baton Rouge Foundation Repair has been servicing the greater Baton Rouge area for more than 22 years, and the owner, Michael LaMonica, is a lifelong resident of Baton Rouge. Don't be asked to pay twice for your foundation repair work. Get Baton Rouge Foundation Repair's water, shield, pilings, and estimates. They are always free. You can go to that website that I gave you earlier, brfoundation.com. There you can click right there in the homepage, get a quote. You can also pick up the phone, give them a call, 225-275-0101. Also on the website, you can see those before and after pictures that I always tell you about. One last time before we go, 225-275-0101.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property.
Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
This is big. Really big. I mean really, really, really big. Because Honda's summer clearance event is going on right now at Richards Honda. With 0 to the 4th power on brand new Honda Civics. That's 0 down, 0 due at signing, 0 security deposit, and 0 first month payment. Plus, summer clearance on every new vehicle in stock. Just another reason why people call Richards Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Do you know the proper way to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in your office? We do. We're Jani-King, a leader in the cleaning industry for over 30 years, and we've developed comprehensive programs to address proper cleaning and disinfection. We have experience in applying disinfecting programs in hospitals, office buildings, schools, and other venues. Now we're ready to help and able to assist customers that need disinfecting services.
Jani-King, the king of clean.
This isn't just another day, it's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at
Join us for a Friday edition of Game Time with Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz. The guys get you ready for all the action on deck this weekend in sports as they're live from Just Winging It on Hushatu. Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. I'm feeling kind of warm myself right now. I've threatened all week. They turn the air in here down anymore. It's cold in here. I mean, you've been doing this the whole time. Yep. I'm just back in the studio. It was July when I came back in here. July and August. It's the hottest 2 months of the year. Come in here in short sleeves for sure. You spend 3 hours in here in short sleeves in these chairs, and you're frigid.
You need a parka in here.
No, I went full on sweatshirt.
I'm sure people wonder why I wear mostly like pants and long sleeves every day.
Yeah.
At least when I'm coming and going. Like,
Right.
and if I stop like at the grocery store or something, I'll still be in my long sleeves and my pants. It's because the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio is Antarctica.
Yes, you could hang meat in here. I wasn't even going pullover today. I went full on sweatshirt. I got this is if you're watching along. This is my Barrett's barleycorn sweatshirt. I bought this in Nebraska the year that, and I don't remember exactly what it was. One of the smoke years that the temperature just plummeted. You ever been to Omaha for the College World Series?
I have not.
To pack for the College World Series is a challenge
because you don't know.
Because
Yeah.
I've been to Omaha a dozen times in June every time, and I've seen the temperatures there anywhere from in the low 50s to the high 90s.
Yeah.
And sometimes it will switch 20 degrees over the course of, you're there for almost 2 weeks. So you
That
try
whole part of the country's like that.
so you try to pack for first of all, trying to pack for 2 weeks and get on a plane. So you got to find somewhere to do laundry. In the years that they won the championship, because you're there for 2 full weeks, but you also have to plan for the cold and the hot. So I mean, good luck. It's one of the more challenging trips to pack for. So one year I went up there and I'm like, you know what? I'm not packing a jacket or anything. And of course it got down into the 50s and the wind was blowing. I was like, no, I'm gonna go buy a sweatshirt. That's you just have to otherwise. But the year that LSU won the national championship under Paul Maneri was the hottest that I've ever been in Omaha. I mean, we were down on the field, we were doing pregame interviews, and you know, you could almost feel like you were wearing the weather. I mean, it felt like South Louisiana. It was so humid, it was so muggy, and just 3 days before it had been 70 degrees. Now, most of the time the weather's really good up there. When you go in June, you have reasonable temperatures, but it will swing on you, man. We've been up there through tornadoes. We 2 times we were up there. The last time we went in 2017, the tornadoes destroyed part of the Air Force Base up there. But Jimmy and I once got, along with the rest of the press box, got evac'd down to the basement one year. We were at Rosenblatt, and all of a sudden you hear the sirens. And it's everybody get down. They had a room underneath the stadium where they did interviews called the Hall of Fame room, and everybody had to evac into the Hall of Fame room, and then the lights went out. Not for long, but they went out, and I'm like, man, look, I'm used to hurricanes. I need a few days notice. They hit that siren, and they evac'd everybody down to the bottom of the stadium.
Is that your ultimate College World Series? Is that like utopia for you? Because I feel like when you talk about it, you get a little glow to it.
I love that trip, man. Yeah. I love the people up there. I love the event. I do have to tell you that part of it is that the first trip I made up there was in '96, and that was one of those just sports moments that will live forever. If I had gone up there for the first time in a year, like our friend Richard Condon, okay, he had heard all of the stories about Omaha, and so he said, all right, I'm finally going to go. And he drove up the day of the game, got out, and it's about, they've changed some of the roads since we first started going. You can make it now in about 13 hours.
Yeah.
But it's 13 hours ain't nothing. So he drove probably closer to 15 or 16 hours, got out, LSU lost, he got back in the car, drove back home. So over a course of 24 hours, he was, no, more than that, probably like, say 36 hours, he was in the car for 30 hours, and the 6 hours he was there, he watched LSU lose. So no, he doesn't have a very good opinion of Omaha. But for me, I went in 96, I went in 97, I went in 98, and I went in 2000. I spent 4 out of 5 years. I spent close to 2 months in Omaha, and LSU won every game but 2. They were like 14-2. So I fell in love with the place. I mean, it did nothing but reek of success for LSU, and then the people are so good. They support the event. The community is tremendous. I made a lot of good friends up there, and I'm looking forward to going back.
I want to go. It's something that's definitely on my bucket list. I've been to many NCAA basketball tournaments, and that's a really nice event. Just sit there and just watch basketball, and to see the small schools when they get there and the pride that they have to be there. That's for me. If as soon as everything's back to normal and we have our NCAA tournament, I'm for sure going to hit one up next year.
I would say there's a bunch of different ways to do Omaha. My advice: you can go the first weekend, you can go the second weekend. I would say you can drive it now. It's a little bit better, easier to drive it. You can fly it. You can fly into Kansas City and drive the rest of the way. You want to save some money. I always urge everybody, go the first weekend when everybody's still in the tournament. Right. And a lot of LSU fans are like, well, no, I want to see them play for a championship, and you have to sweat out the first weekend. And I get that. I mean, you want to be there. They're going to win it. You want to be there. But that first weekend when all 8 teams are there, and you do have, some Cal Santa Barbaras make it and some Kent States make it, and to see every fan base there. Some people travel better than others. Distance is certainly a factor, but the opening ceremonies are kind of cool. All of the kids are pretty accessible, so you feel like you're very close when they come into the stadiums. I think it's still a very it's got a hometown feel to it. Omaha is a very, very big town. Okay, it doesn't. it doesn't feel. At one point they talked about trying to move it, into a bigger city. No, Omaha's perfect for it. It's got that hometown feel to it of amateur baseball, and it's perfect. And when they canceled the damn thing last year, it drove, because even in the years I don't go, and I've been up there before when LSU hasn't been there. And of course, it's not the same, but it's still a great event. I enjoy watching the College World Series, and every year that's sort of like what puts that's the end of the year for me.
Right.
It's our kind of like our fiscal year. It starts in August and it ends in June and July. We take some vacation and we get ready for the upcoming season. But yeah, that's it. So
basically, Coach Maneri, if you're listening, you better make it so Hanny can go up to Omaha.
He knows.
He knows it's Omaha or bust.
He knows. And boy, we've made so many stops up there that we kind of know the circuit. Where to eat, where to go hang out. Where to tickets.
They always say LSU takes over the town.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. It's a big financial hit. Karen Barrett's got an entire wing on her home that was built by LSU people. We'll take a break here. 60-48, the Raptors lead the Nets early in the third quarter. Toronto trying to go up 3-0 in that series, the first of another NBA quadruple header. Nuggets and Jazz, probably the best series going right now. That's the second game today at 3 o'clock. Matt Hayes with us in hour number 3. This is Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
When you want the best of Louisiana, you don't go to a superstore. We know what we like, and we like it local. Same goes for banking. As one of Louisiana's largest local banks, we offer homegrown services crafted around you. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Injury lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. First NBA playoff game of the day. Raptors looking to take a commanding 3-0 series lead on the Nets. Toronto leading it 72-55 in the third quarter. Jazz guard Mike Conley cleared quarantine, will be in the lineup for today's Game 3 against the Nuggets. He returned to the bubble Monday after attending the birth of his son. Blazers star guard Damian Lillard says he's playing in Game 3 against the Lakers tomorrow despite a dislocated left finger sustained in last night's loss. His coach, Terry Stotts, however, said it's too early to determine his status. If Lillard does play, the Lakers must take advantage of the injury, believes First Take's Stephen A. Smith.
What you want is somebody that's constantly reaching and swiping and things of that nature. Why? Because psychologically, in an effort to protect your hand, you might be so preoccupied with doing that could thwart your shot off. It could knock you off your rhythm.
Game 3 is tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern on ABC. Series tied 1-1. This weekend's Mets-Yankees series postponed out of an abundance of caution due to COVID-19 concerns. 2 members of the Mets tested positive this week for COVID-19. Golf, Dustin Johnson tied for the lead at the Northern Trust Open.
Cover all your bases with Straight Talk Wireless. Get the same networks as big carriers, only pay up to 50% less. Get the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G for just $45 a month. Only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hour number 3, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, 1130 The Tiger in Shreveport. With our friends over on CST. YouTube chat 104.5 YouTube chat and our YouTube channel 104.5 ESPN. Hanging with Hester and Hanny page for some of our previous interviews and segments. You can get that there. And of course, you can chat with us in the Bayou Ford chat. I had a couple of ones I wanted to talk about. Somebody said, ask Hanny. This is before our ask segment, but I'll forget if I don't do it now. It says, which happens first, Bama back to Omaha or Vandy to Atlanta for the SEC championship game? Because somebody earlier had posted, Hanny likes Omaha because he knows Alabama will never be there. Actually, Alabama, although they never take over there, in 1997, Alabama had a great team. LSU played them in the finals, and LSU had to play one less game, so they kind of got in their pitching staff a little bit and blew them out in the championship game. But that was an excellent Alabama team that they had played in the regular season, and that was when they lost 28-2 in Tuscaloosa. Came back and beat them the next day for the championship. But I would say Bama gets back to Omaha before Vandy gets to
for sure
to Atlanta.
Brad Bohannon's actually a really good baseball coach, and it seems like he's actually trying to get that program back to what it was. And obviously, we know the resources they put into other sports at Alabama, and it seems like that got forgotten about for a long time. But I do think they got actually a good baseball coach. Now, getting to Omaha, that's still a long way away, but Vanderbilt's never getting to the
and you can get hot in baseball and get your way to Omaha if you get on a hot streak for a couple of weeks. I mean, if Stony Brook played lights out for 2 weeks and got to Omaha. And
Coastal won the thing.
Coastal won it. Fresno State won it. They were a 4 seed in their regional. So you can get hot and you can get there even if you're not the best team. You can't get hot in a football season. There's no scenario that I can see where Vanderbilt ever makes the SEC championship.
I don't like to speak in absolutes, but they're absolutely not making it.
Well, who's the best coach that you could put there? The best coach. If James Franklin had stayed there, would they have made it? And James Franklin is a
hell of a football coach.
If you were ranking the coaches in the country right now, he's top 10.
Yeah, for
top
sure.
12. You know,
for me, he's top 10.
Maybe top 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you always have your list to have the guys that shouldn't be there. I'm looking at you, khakis, but no, James Franklin's a hell of a coach.
Well, James Franklin is winning at Penn State.
Yeah.
But he won at Vanderbilt. How many guys could win at Vanderbilt? If you put Saban there, if you put Sweeney there, if Coach O went to Vanderbilt, how many games would he win? So it's not one of those things where, man, if they just ever hire the right coach,
never. The school doesn't care enough about the football program for it to be an elite SEC team. They don't have the facilities, they don't have the stadium, they don't have the backing. The baseball team does, and there's other reasons, and we talked about the scholarships and everything that they get there. So. They just won a national championship in baseball because they care about it. They don't care about football.
There are places where if you hire the right that have been down for a while. For instance, like Arizona. Arizona hasn't been a good football program in a while. But I can remember back in the late 90s when those Desert Swarm defenses. If you ever got the right coach at Arizona, they could be a very good football program. But Vanderbilt's never going to be. There's not a coach. What if tomorrow Nick Saban said, I need a challenge. I'm going to resign at Alabama and I'm going to take the Vanderbilt job.
The challenge would put him in his grave, I think. He wouldn't know what to do.
He might be I would say he'd be the exception, but I don't know that he could do. So
because it would take so long to get the infrastructure for the facilities and the stadium and to get the ooh and ahs to get recruits and to create a culture there. That doesn't happen overnight. Even at a blue blood, sometimes you got to restart the culture, right? Like, how is Texas football not better than they are, right?
It's just that's been mulled over by a lot of people in Texas.
How is USC not good right now? They have the resources, they have the history, they have the brand.
think they have the wrong coach. There are places that are good programs that you hire the wrong. Tennessee could be so much better, or could have been so much better, because we saw what happens when Tennessee's got the right coach. They didn't have the right coach.
They didn't have the right coach with Butch and then Dooley, and the culture wasn't great there, and they had to hit reset. And it's taking a while to get to back to where you want to be. Tennessee won 6 games in a row last year, and they celebrated that like they had won something, because that's how bad it's been.
Right.
And that was 6 games in a row. Tennessee should do that at least once a season.
I've said many times, no program is bulletproof. Okay. Alabama's not bulletproof. Go to the 10 years before Saban. When Shula was the coach there, they won a title under Mike DuBose.
Okay, but Shula, people forget in 05, Shula had that team number 5 in the country when we went to Tuscaloosa in November.
I remember that. What was his record over 4 years?
I understand that, but I'm saying they still had moments. They only lost 2 games that year.
I'm not saying they go down to the status of a Vanderbilt, but you can lose at Alabama. You can lose at Texas. Yeah. You can lose at Oklahoma. The 10 years before Bob Stoops got to Oklahoma, they were a mess. We've seen USC go through downs. Right, the 1 year between Jim Tressel and Urban Meyer, Ohio State went 6-6. Michigan, Georgia. We saw Florida under Ron Zook. Nobody is bulletproof.
I forgot about the Ron Zook era in Florida.
So no, there's no program. You can screw it up, okay? But there are programs that just simply will not ever be able to win on a high level.
That's one of the things that's been most impressive to me since 2000 for LSU. They haven't had that year.
No,
Florida just won 4 games not that long ago.
That's right. No, it's a big deal.
It's been at least 8 wins since 2000.
You know what statement probably drives me crazy, because I just think it is so untrue and it's such a lazy take, is the program sells itself. Anybody could win there. No. That is not true. That is not true of a single program in the country. Point to any one of them, and I'll show you a coach or an administrator that screwed it up. It might have been for a short period of time.
I mean, it's happened here in the past. I mean,
I lived through the 90s. I was here. I was on campus. Okay, the beginning. I'm not saying it was my fault. You understand?
I think it was.
It is. You can absolutely screw it up anywhere. You can have great facilities, great recruiting base, plenty of money. You know, money is necessary, but if you have it, it doesn't guarantee you anything. Yes, you can screw it up. We kind of got off on a tangent there. We were supposed to talk about this poll that you got.
No, so I want to throw something to our Bayou 4 chat on YouTube because the SEC Network put it out there, and anytime anybody's talking running backs in the SEC, I want to throw it out there. Which running back duo was the best? I'm going to give you a list to choose from. We're not going to throw any LSU duos in there because obviously our Bayou 4 chat would vote for the LSU duo. The Auburn Tigers with Cadillac Williams and Ronnie Brown. The Arkansas Razorbacks with Darren McFadden and Felix Jones. Nick Chubb and Sonny Michel at Georgia. You can pick like 5 different Georgia duos, by the way. Jamal Lewis and Travis Henry at Tennessee. Or Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson at Alabama?
Well,
the Arkansas is intriguing. Run DMC was really, really good. And at the time, he might have been the best college football player in the entire country. But for me, Cadillac Williams and Ronnie Brown were so good, and they were so dynamic, and they brought something different to the table. It's hard for me not to point to that one.
And their draft stock would back that up. So what I would look at is, who do I think out of the 10 is the best out of the 10? And off of those 10, I think McFadden was the best college back out of those 10. So then
I know Ingram won the Heisman, but I'll still go McFadden.
So who was the best out of the second name in that group? And Ronnie Brown is a good choice, but
so good.
But I thought Trent Richardson was better than Ronnie Brown. And they went right about the same spot in the draft.
I thought he was a hell of a football player, but I never thought that top 5 pick.
I'm trying to separate Richardson's NFL stuff from his college stuff because the NFL stuff was a bust. But as a college back, I thought he was better than Ingram. He scared me more than Ingram did. I know Ingram won the Heisman, but I thought Richardson was the better player at Alabama.
Yeah.
And I think he's the best of the second names on all of these things. I would say Ingram and Richardson.
Ronnie was a better pass protector than Richardson. He was a better receiver than Richardson. Trent could run the ball between the tackles when he was at Alabama as well as anyone. And that didn't translate to the NFL. You're exactly right, because once you become predictable in between the tackles in the NFL, you're not going to have
I thought he was a threat to break one almost every time he touched the football. He had that kind of explosiveness. I loved Ronnie Brown. I thought he was a terrific player. But much as it pains me to say, of that quintet here, I would take Ingram and Richardson.
There's a couple of teams that you could add as trios in there. Brandon Jacobs was with Auburn at that time. Peyton Hillis was with Arkansas at that time.
You throw Peyton Hillis in, and Arkansas becomes a lot more intriguing because that 2007 game, I mean, they were great. They were great that whole year, that group. And they had an offense that was just exceptionally difficult to defend. And right when you thought you had an answer for, ride the jet sweep action, they'd either get the ball to Hillis some kind of way, or McFadden would throw the doggone thing, and you'd go, man, come on, we finally got the quarterback who was McFadden in a lot of those actions. We finally got the quarterback and the pitch man covered, and you throw the ball. You're not supposed to be able to do that.
I'm going to take up from my fullback brethren here, Peyton Hillis. If he goes to a lot of other places, he's the starting tailback there. A lot of people forget his freshman season at Arkansas, he was actually the kick returner. I mean, that's what they thought of his skill set and his athletic ability.
Wasn't he on the cover of Madden one year?
He was, because he ran for over 1,000 yards when he was with the Browns. And it was the year that they had the tournament bracket set up, and he won the vote. We were in the Senior Bowl together, and he was a guy that was more of a running back than a fullback, and he was not shy in telling people at the Senior Bowl that he was playing with McFadden, and Felix Jones was your track guy. Now, Felix didn't translate to the NFL, again, because kind of the opposite of Trent Richardson. There was one thing he could do once teams figured that out, right? It was, sweeps and running stretch and outside zone. Well, once they took that away from him, he couldn't run in between the tackles. But still, as a college football player, he had a skill set.
We're getting a lot of different ones in the Bayou Ford chat that were not on our list. I don't know who came up with those 5.
It was the SEC network.
It was the SEC network. Yeah. So we're not talking about Miami teams or Texas when Ricky Williams was there, or Marcus Allen and Charles White. It's not an all-time thing. They just picked these 5.
For you, in your time, somebody you've seen in person, not you've heard legends of, or you hear stories about somebody you've seen in person that's been the most impressive running back to you, non-LSU, because LSU that opens up a different bag.
Non-LSU in. God, maybe it's just because of the game that I watched, but Sean Alexander. I mean, when he came in here and drug a pretty good defense for 300 yards. I mean, that in Tiger Stadium, that's the best performance I've ever seen. And McFadden was, I thought the better player. But if you're asking me the best in-person performance, and Emmitt Smith drug LSU for 3 years, man. But no, you're one time, one game, one player. Sean Alexander, man.
Look, if you can run the football in number 37 and not be made fun of, you're doing something right. Sean Alexander was a stud. That's a good one. I'll go Ricky Williams at Texas.
Yeah.
There was times when if you tackled Ricky, I was surprised. He was so good. And remember, those Texas teams weren't great. In fact, they were kind of mediocre teams. They never really had a quarterback. It was only Ricky Williams, and I loved his running style. He was a big, physical running back, and obviously he had success.
You just like it because he started as a fullback, right?
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Fullback love. Grit, neck roll, let's do it.
Take a break. Matt Hayes from Bleacher Report is with us when we come back here. We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Tiger Air and the American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning Systems that are the most efficient units on the market. I know. I've got one in my home. Had it put in, and not only does it do a great job of heating and cooling our house, but I started to save money. From my very first energy bills after the American Standard was there, we started to save some money. Not just the efficiency of the unit, but the programmable thermostat that makes it so easy to adjust your thermostat for when you're there and when you're not. You'll be amazed at how much money it saves you every single month.
Tiger Air has that comfort assurance protection plan that I always tell you about for your air conditioning and heating equipment. Seasonal maintenance discounts on parts and labor and priority service are included in that. Remember also, they can service any air conditioner, right? So when you're in that protection plan, don't worry. Yes, they service your brand of air conditioner. Also, give them a call at 225-754-8687 or go to tiger-air.com. Quotes are always free right there in the top right corner of the website. That's Tiger Air.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is big. Really big. I mean, really, really, really big. Because Honda's summer clearance event is going on right now at Richards Honda. With 0 to the 4th power on brand new Honda Civics. That's 0 down, 0 due at signing, 0 security deposit, and 0 first month payment. Plus, summer clearance on every new vehicle in stock. Just another reason why people call Richards Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
Divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is exhausting. The law offices of O.C. Brown walked me through my divorce and helped me find the right solution for me, my kids, my finances, and my property.
Call the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare.
Hey, it's Musso. Come join us for Mondays Off the Bench. We recap the weekend, the latest from LSU and Saints training camps, an update on the NBA playoffs, and of course we have our weekend winners. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We are brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Raptors lead it by 16 at the end of 3, 84-68, going to go up 3-0 on the Nets.
No surprise there, Hanny.
No, there's not. Although I got to tell you that the Nets were competitive in game one. They play hard, and they played pretty well in the bubble. I think they were 5-3 in the lead up games. They're doing all of this without their two best players. It's an attractive job. I only bring it up because if they move on from Jacques Vaughn, who I think has done a pretty admirable job up there, then this is one of the teams. Would you rather take over the Nets, who made the playoffs, are in the East, and have Durant and Kyrie coming back, or would you rather take over the Pelicans and the talent that they have in the tougher West, and which group do you want to work for?
Cost of living in New Orleans a lot cheaper, and just say
well, you do have that as well. Matt Hayes is with us now from Bleacher Report. Matt, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, fellas. Doing good. How about y'all?
We're doing good. We're trying to do a COVID-free Friday, so this question is not really. It's not COVID related. It's just the cause of COVID. The proposal earlier this week that's being voted on today to basically say that this year doesn't count against your eligibility. Give me your best guess on how this is going to work and the ramifications of this decision.
I think it's a great decision, but I think you also have to understand that you're in a situation where, yes, it won't cost them a year of eligibility, but it's still going to cost you to get your 85 cap. So if you're going to have to adjust in the way you recruit down the road. So, I think it's a great decision. I think it's awesome the fact that you're going to see all these freshmen playing and play as much as they want. And then if it doesn't work out, all right, well, then you just redshirt. You still got your year. Everything's fine. It's no big deal. I don't know. This is it, too. I don't know if this means it's a free year and they still have their red shirts. In other words, you're going to get 6 years. I think it's going to be a free year, but you probably don't get your red shirt. You know what I mean? But you're still going to have 4 years to play, but you're not going to have a red shirt where you can red shirt. And you know what I mean by that? Because if they don't, it's going to be a 6-year thing. And I don't think they're going to do that.
Well, we talked about it, Matt, with college baseball. You gave the ability to have an extra year for everybody, regardless of what classification they were. But the cost of a football full scholarship is completely different than the scholarships you pass out in baseball. We know 11.7 for the entire team. So some universities wouldn't be able to keep up with the cost depending on who decided to come back. So like Nebraska did in baseball, you could see some football programs that said, look, we just can't do it.
No, right. I completely agree with you, Jacob. And I also think it's going to be, coaches are creatures of the moment. So what might look good to them, a player at this point, maybe 9 months down the road, they recruit a better player later. So they're you're going to have to make tough decisions. And I don't want to say coaches run guys off, but the reality is, they're 1-year scholarships. You've got to earn it. You've got to get after it. You got to earn it. So there will be tough decisions made. I see this about everything. No matter what happens, there's always an unintended consequence to it that could be a problem down the line for someone else or something else.
Guys, I'm just getting the tweets are just coming across now. Just as we started this segment, the NCAA Board of Directors has approved the blanket waiver for players to keep their year of eligibility, no matter if they play in the fall or the spring. They also approved planning fall sports championships in the spring of 2021. So you're going to be able to move those championships to the spring, and you're going to be able to scale down the automatic qualifiers for them. So all of these things, Matt, were expected. Now it's kind of what are some of the unintended consequences that we could look at from some of these things?
Well, I also see when you look at this, guys, and I think this is something that's not really being talked about. The NCAA did this, so the guys at the Big Ten and the Pac-12, they're worried about losing players, because it's going to be very hard for the NCAA to tell Jacob Hester, who's a running back at Ohio State, who says, you know what, I'm not sitting until the spring to play football. That gets me a lot closer to having to work out for the NFL, and I don't want to do that to my body. I want to go play immediately in the fall at the SEC, the ACC, or the Big 12. It's going to be hard for them to tell those guys no. There's no doubt about that, because they're always talking about the best interest of the health and welfare of the student athlete. And if you're worried about your body, there's no way you can tell someone no that. So what they're trying to do with this now, what they can say is, look, you've got a free year no matter what. We're not in the business of saying you should go early to the NFL or not. We're just telling you you've got a free year. They're trying to cover all their bases and basically have their cake and eat it too, and that's not going to happen. There are still going to be guys, I would imagine within the next 7 to 10 to 14 days, you will see some guys leave those Big Ten and Pac-12 schools because, either you want to play and improve your stock or you're not going to play in the spring because you don't want to hurt yourself. I would think the guys that are like second and third round type guys that think they can move to the first, those are guys that I would picture saying, okay, maybe I should go play at Oklahoma, or maybe I should go play at Texas or wherever, because, I don't want to put my body through it in the winter season, which, oh, by the way, still may not happen anyway.
All right, Matt, let's transition to a conference that's actually playing football. Let's talk some SEC here. I want to ask you, obviously you're there in Jacksonville, I want to ask you a Florida Gators question. We've heard they've got 3 receivers and a defensive end that are not yet with the team, kind of holding out to decide if they want to play. That would be a big blow for Kyle Trask and Dan Mullen to not have those receivers on the field. You're talking about your top 3 guys.
Well, you talk about Trayvon Grimes, who a lot of people at Florida believe not only is going to be their number 1 receiver, but believe can be a big-time player. I've talked to numerous scouts about him. They think, he's a guy that's 6'3", he's about 220 pounds, he can run. He's a 4'4" guy. He's a guy that can develop into a first-rounder. So they're very excited about him. He has come out and said, I think within the last day that he's playing. Their best defensive player, Zach Carter's defensive end, he's also come out and said he's going to play. And I don't know about the other 2 receivers, Jacob Copeland, who will be a sophomore. I don't know that he said it. And the other one is Kadarius Toney. I think they're expecting all of them to come back. I think it was kind of like an initial shock. But as of now, 2 of them have come back, and 2 of the receivers, I don't think we've heard anything definitively yet on either one of them. But to your point, Jacob, initially when this was said, you're talking about the top 3 receivers and their best defensive players. And that's a lot to deal with if you're Dan Mullen. But it looks like he's at the point now where at least half of the 4 are coming back.
Matt Hayes from Bleacher Report is our guest. Matt, when you looked at the top 25s that were redone this week without the conferences that aren't playing, what's the most unusual name you saw in there, and who benefits the most from what will be a scaled-down college football season?
I mean, it was funny to see Florida State in the top 25, I'll tell you that. That was a little bit of an eye-opener. There's no doubt about that. It's interesting. To me, I feel really bad for those Ohio State guys because I think they might have the best team. I don't know about talent-wise. I think Alabama probably has better talent. I think Clemson probably has better talent. But I think as far as a team, and Jacob could speak to this, as far as motivation, they were so close last year. And we've got a motivated, talented team with a really good quarterback that's really good on defense. That's a tough team to beat. I feel bad for we laugh about Florida State, but I'm really disappointed not seeing Ohio State getting to compete, with the other Power 5 conference. I'm really disappointed not see Penn State, who I think also could have had a really big year. I love Sean Clifford, their quarterback. I love their skill guys. I think they're very good on D, Penn State. And it's unfortunate that we're not seeing those types of teams. Even Oregon, which was still changing its quarterback, but Oregon has a lot of players, a lot of really good players on that team. And it would have been fun to see them.
All right, Matt, let me ask you this. We probably agree on the top 4 contenders in the SEC, Alabama, LSU, Georgia, and Florida. But when you look at some of these top 25s now that have been reshuffled, we see teams like Texas A&M come in at number 10, teams like Tennessee at 15, Kentucky at 16. So outside of the top 4 contenders, is there another team that you think can get into the race to compete for the SEC?
Doesn't it have to be Texas A&M? I mean, if you pay
it doesn't have to be. I mean, you're on radio in Baton Rouge. We can keep that out a while.
If you pay that kind of money to Jimbo, and his first couple years were kind of like, at some point, you have to get a little bit back on your investment. They've got a quarterback who's in his 3rd year now. He's been recruiting. Jimbo's have put together some nice recruiting classes. I mean, they're at the point now where they got to start winning games that matter in the SEC. And I don't think you can avoid that. I don't think you can say, I walked into a mess, we're rebuilding. When year 3 rolls around, you're not walking into a mess. I mean, you think Ed Orgeron could have said, I walked into a mess? No. That was day 1 with him. Day 1, he's got to win. Yep. So I don't see why it's any different with Jimbo at Texas A&M. I think he's at the point now where, look, man, it's time to produce. Absolutely.
Matt, we appreciate your time. Have a good weekend. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, my friends, anytime. Appreciate it.
Matt Hayes from Bleacher Report. Take a break. Be back on the other side here. We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Speaking of Richard's Honda, they are hiring and they want you to join our team. It's a great place to work with fun-loving people, plus guaranteed set income for 3 months and lots of hands-on training. Richard's Honda, known for having happy employees and also having those happy customers. So they've got one of the best benefit packages and work environments in the state of Louisiana. Make the smart choice. Apply today at richardshonda.com/careers. While you're at richardshonda.com, as we always tell you, you can find the warm, fuzzy promise. Well, what's that? It's upfront, transparent internet pricing on richardshonda.com. No unwanted preloaded accessories, complimentary paint protection, superior service and parts center, outstanding customer care, complimentary free oil change. A lot of things in that warm, fuzzy promise. You can find that right there on the homepage of richardshonda.com. You can also find them physically at 13413 Millerville Greens Boulevard in Baton Rouge, I-12 in Millerville, over 700 vehicles on the lot over there. You'll drive away happy at Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube page. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat. Find highlights for each show's channel and get notified whenever we go live.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25 years.
This is big. Really big. I mean really, really, really big. Because Honda's summer clearance event is going on right now at Richard's Honda. With 0 to the 4th power on brand new Honda Civics. That's 0 down, 0 due at signing, 0 security deposit, and 0 first month payment. Plus, summer clearance on every new vehicle in stock. Just another reason why people call Richard's Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Here at the Big Squeezy, we continue to serve the Baton Rouge and Southeast Louisiana areas during these troubling times. We are dedicated to providing you healthy food items to help you live your best life. From our cold-pressed juices to our delicious smoothies, let the Big Squeezy keep you going. Stay active, stay happy, and let us help you stay healthy. Visit us at our locations and also inside of Alexander's and Methern's grocery stores or online at thebigsqueezy.com.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Hey, can someone get Gordy on the line? Is Terrio still suspended? I need to know. Find out tomorrow at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
And we are brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. It's some warm and fuzzy feeling music there, right?
If you say so.
Okay.
So let's go off real quick on that. You don't really care, like what the music coming in is. It was.
You know why? I got used to when we were on the road.
You couldn't hear it.
You couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
So I got used to basically a cue that came back into my ear without any background to it. And when we changed producers a number of times, and from time to time I would get a tweet or a message, something like, "What is with this music?" And I'd be like, I don't even hear it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So depending on who our producer was that particular day and what mood they were in, you could have got just about anything. So no, I learned not to have, but it affects you obviously.
It pains my heart. I mean, me and Flynn basically did shows just talking about bumper music. I mean, that's the only way I could get him in. That's why I haven't been in. That's why I haven't been in 3 weeks, because he doesn't get to choose the bumper music anymore.
Is that what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to break like the YouTube rules to get.
It's like, hey, YouTube, we're giving whoever owns the music, we're giving them a little pub, hey, listen to this music. We like it. You should like it too.
The pub is wonderful, but they like money better. Is that what you're telling me?
Tomato.
Yeah, I get it. All right, so we promised you a COVID free after the opening thing, unless something happened. Something did happen. This happened, actually was reported in the middle of the show today, but tell you now, UL Monroe has suspended football activities. They had 9 positive COVID tests this week. They're supposed to play a game in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from tomorrow at Troy. They're not the only ones that have. I think Florida International has suspended practices today. But for a team that's got 2 weeks to go to the opener, that's significant. Also today, Iowa cut 4 varsity sports. They cut men's gymnastics, they cut men's and women's swimming, and they cut men's tennis. And the University of Nebraska furloughed 51 employees of their athletic department today.
Yeah.
These are the real consequences of cutting this. This is 51 people's jobs. I don't know how many jobs there are on those 4 sports at Iowa, or how many athletes that there are that were on scholarship there. But all of this, this just got cut, and you're going to see more of it. That's why, we're so adamant about at least giving it a shot, because it's going to have real consequences. Not that the pandemic doesn't have real consequences. It's about taking precautions and moving forward, and not just throwing your hands up. So had to break protocol there for
good job, Hanny.
I know.
Well, seriously though, when you're talking about furloughing and people losing their jobs and people having their sports cut, it's devastating. I mean,
yeah, how'd you like if you lost your job, or if you don't have a job for the next 6 months?
And the money aspect of it, that's crushing. And those people have families; they're trying to provide for people, but also the student athletes that just have their sports cut. Because when you earn a scholarship to a place like Iowa, I mean, it's in the Big Ten. You're prideful. That is something you've worked your butt off to achieve that goal your entire life. And then all of a sudden, hey, we're not having your sport anymore. Not like, hey, we're going to postpone, or hey, we're going to miss this season. No, your sport's gone. Like, it doesn't exist at this university anymore. That's really devastating, because I know what it takes to get to that point and to get to your peak athletic ability and your achievement of finally getting that scholarship. And you're talking about some sports that are club sports, and man, a lot of missed opportunities, right? Some of your friends going out and doing stuff on the weekends. I got a meet. I got a swim meet. I got to go drive 3 hours to go to this swim meet. And you give up a lot and you sacrifice a lot to have that just cut from you.
And so you immediately look to transfer somewhere that does have a program right there. So you talk about an exodus of some.
But not everybody's going to have a spot. Just like the transfer portal. It's got over 400 people in it right now.
You've got less spots than you've got applicants.
Yeah.
Happens a lot. After this. All right. You know what? Let's take a break. We'll go to Ask Us early.
Oh, early. Hey,
yeah,
we'll
go to Ask Us early. Get in the YouTube chat, or send us something on Twitter. You can do that as well, and we'll do some Ask Us. Unfortunately, a little bit of bad news hit here at the end of the show, but we shall endeavor to persevere and all that stuff. Take a break. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
You know, it's funny that we're talking about those that are looking for work or that have lost their jobs. And if you want to get employed right now, Associated Grocers is hiring right now. And they're hiring in a range of opportunities: warehouse, administrative, maintenance, and tractor-trailer drivers. Great compensation, meaningful benefits. And, you know, for your tractor-trailer drivers, you're guaranteed 40 hours per week. There's a potential for overtime. It's a fast-paced environment, but it's a team-based atmosphere, family environment, yearly increases, benefits start 90 days after your employment starts. So it's a great time to apply with Associated Grocers right now at agbr.com.
Hey, join the AG family, like Hanny said, family atmosphere. When it comes to being happy with your job every single day, it's about more than just the pay. Trust me on that one. You want a supportive family environment like AG offers you. They got some fun stuff going over there. They've got basketball, pool tournaments, all that kind of stuff. Gordy doesn't give us that. agbr.com.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
Get an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
At All Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Join us for a Friday edition of Game Time with Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz. The guys get you ready for all the action on deck this weekend in sports as they're live from Just Winging It on Hooshatoo. Game Time, 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Final segment of the show today. We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. All right, this is Ask Us. Okay, we start with play the Revivalist for music.
Oh, I like the Revivalist.
Yeah, okay.
You not a fan, Hanny?
Not familiar.
Yeah.
Well,
give you some
homework
tunes,
over the weekend.
Tunes to listen to, some
Okay.
homework. I was
send me some stuff.
See, I was about to be rebellious and just start playing it over my phone and into the speakers, but you two probably like that too.
Yeah.
So
Don't cost us any money, please.
Wish I Knew You's a good one by the Revivalists.
Okay. Ask Hester, what was the name of the FNA team you guys drew this year?
We got the Irish this year. So last year was the Seminoles. This year we got the Irish. So we're stuck in 1990s glory right now.
All right.
I would have taken the Gators over the Crimson Tide because at least I
still can't believe Crimson Tide's in there.
At least I could get Chris Doyne to maybe sponsor the uniforms.
Why don't you do like teams that aren't, in the Southeastern Conference? I mean, so there's not this built up hate, like Huskies or I don't know.
I know they've got the Spartans.
Yeah.
They've got the Cornhuskers, I believe. The
Patriots
Boilermakers. They've got
something.
the Longhorns, which I wouldn't want that one either.
Boilermakers? Is Gordy in the league?
I bet he had something to do with it. There's no question about it. We'll ask Terrio.
Okay.
I'll call in the show
You're
today.
going to have to call in the show. Is he coming in today? You sure?
I don't know.
Ask Us, can you guys come up with a top 25 with only the participating teams? They did that this week. I think the guys from Yahoo might have done it first. But it was strange looking. I asked Matt Hayes who he thought would benefit the most. Sporting News has done it as well. There were a few of them that I saw this week.
But it didn't look as crazy as I thought it would.
No, App State was probably the one that caught my attention.
And a football team.
They do, and they popped into the top 25 a couple of times.
The one that caught me was Pitt at 25.
Okay, well that's another good one. But you would never, I don't think you would ever see like an App State in a preseason top 25. Now there was the year, well, they opened up something like 9-0 or 10-0. And you had a lot of teams that had lost games, and so they popped in the top 25 there. But you never expect to see them in the
State
top
lost
25.
one game last year.
Yeah,
they beat South Carolina.
No, they were very good. Yeah. They were very. You just don't expect to see them in a preseason top 25, and that was the one that kind of got me. Hayes cracked me up with his response. He said Florida State. Ask Us, National Senior Citizens Day. Where are you planning to retire to? This one's all you. You talk about retiring all the time. You got me on the clock.
Yeah, I'm going to be on 30A somewhere on the coast there. I hadn't picked out exactly where on 38, but the day I turned 55, so I still got some time. I got 20 years. I will be toes in the sand 38.
Okay. For me, and I'm closer to retirement than you, I hope. I don't know.
How's that 401k looking, Hanny?
It's there.
It exists.
It was a roller coaster for part of the pandemic, but no, it's okay. I have actually kicked around the idea of moving back to my hometown of Franklin to retire. It's a nice little quiet South Louisiana town. I could do that. I may stay here. That's another. I've been here for over 30 years now. I like it here, and if you know anything about me, you know I don't like change.
Yeah.
I'm just very, very set in my ways. I could very easily stay here. Now, none of this means anything, you understand, because I have one vote. My wife has the rest of the votes.
Oh,
so,
for sure.
You want to know about where we're going to retire. Ask her. Yeah. Ask Tracy. Don't ask me, because I'm not going to have very much say in it at all. Ask us, how are you preparing for the Hurricanes next week? The first thing I'm doing is hoping that they miss us. But
it's 2020. They're not missing.
Oh, 2 is that's
headed
different.
Like pretty much right for us.
No, well, I hadn't seen anything recently, but like you said, it's 2020. So first of all, hopefully. Okay, ask us, has Moscona gotten back from the Big Ten office? Ask him yourself. He'll be in here in about 10 minutes. Ask Hester, who would you want to see LSU play in the next 5 years? The schedules are set unless they change them up again. But
I would love to see LSU play USC.
Yeah.
That's one that we always hear legends of, right, when they played in the late 70s. The 2003 thing still stings a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even hear it, and it still stings me a little bit. I would love to see LSU and USC play, and I don't care if it's home or away. I don't want a neutral site game. I want home. I want Coliseum or Death Valley.
I wasn't at the game in '79. Jimmy was. He talks about it all the time. I do remember watching the '84 game. LSU returned the trip to the Coliseum in '84 and won out in California. Dalton Higgett had a big game, if I remember. Jeff Wickersham was the quarterback. But so I've seen him play that. I would like to see them play Michigan. That's the one. The two big schools that they've never played anywhere at any time are Michigan and UCLA, and they're going to UCLA, God willing, next year. If that trip gets canceled, I'm going to be really upset because I've been dying to see them play in the Rose Bowl.
You've been to the Rose Bowl?
I have never been to the Rose Bowl.
Oh, it's got a great old lore to it. Now you got to kind of wait to get in and out of the breezeway there. It's so narrow.
Mm-hmm.
You can only go one way, and they stop you there. But I saw Alabama and Texas play for national championship there. I've seen Manchester United play in that stadium. It's a great venue.
Ask us, have you ever had Spumoni ice cream? No.
I have not. I am pretty partial to Bluebell ice cream, but I will try any kind of ice cream.
Ask us, if the band plays Neck in Tiger Stadium, but there are no fans, did they really play Neck? This one's yours. This is your corner.
It's a great question. I'm sure there would be some people on the sidelines still saying the things that you're talking about, even if Neck was played. I just want to hear it, though. Yeah.
Well,
let's ease into this deal. Maybe
can we play Neck here without getting fined?
I don't know. Paul's got a potty mouth. Paul might,
Paul doesn't speak.
Well, you never heard him during Neck.
Kind of get you going a little bit.
Yeah, of course it does.
All right. Ask us. Okay, that's it. They let us. They let us off the hook. Done for the day. Raptors win 117-92 over the Nets. Go up 3-0 in that series. And second game is Denver and Utah. That's tied at 1 apiece.
Hey, since we're asking questions, I can ask you a question.
Yeah.
Something that I've gone off on a tangent before is teams that just continue to get the benefit of the doubt in the preseason, and we're told they're supposed to win championships. And there's a couple teams that it just seems like they're habitual on this list. And we've talked so much about Texas A&M. What about Georgia for you? Because Georgia got to a championship scenario. It was in overtime, and they were a couple plays away, absolutely. But they are a team that look, LSU the last 2 times they've played them has embarrassed them, right? And it doesn't matter what happens that next preseason. It seems like they're going to be ahead of LSU. And I did a Georgia podcast the other day. We're just sitting there and we're talking about Georgia and all the weapons that they have. They've had weapons for a long time, Hanny. That hasn't been it.
I've always thought that Georgia was the school that most mirrored LSU in the league. The proximity to a major market, them to Atlanta, LSU to New Orleans, that held an enormous amount of high school football talent. The size of the schools, Georgia's a little bit bigger, but they're not terribly different.
Right.
They're the big dog in their state, and they've always had the potential to be a dominant program, and at times they have been, but up until 20 years ago, they had fallen short too many times. Georgia had won theirs in 80, and LSU had won theirs in 58. And it was, if they get the right coach, okay.
Yeah.
But I don't think that argument held water for a long time. I don't think it does anymore, because LSU's won 3 national championships with 3 different coaches. So it's not this program is better than that program. And I thought for years they just had so many similarities, but when if it had just been Saban had come here and won, you say, well, they got the right coach. Anybody else are going to go. No. They've won 3 championships in less than 2 decades with 3 different coaches. LSU's a better program.
Thank
you,
Hanny.
Yeah. That's the way to go to the weekend. That's the way to go to the weekend. Thanks to all our guests today. Thanks to Cade Wazan. Thanks to Paul O'Neill for coming up with a winner idea today. And for Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for AFR here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.